Class. A lot of great memories the last 4 or 5 years with these kids. Names like Canavis McGee, Alfred Williams, Eric Bieniemy, Joe Garton, just to name a few. And I know Bill McCartney and his staff have been extremely proud of their accomplishments.
It's the last chance for the home crowd to see that guy you just mentioned, Eric Bieniemy, the nation's leading rusher.
Well, Eric's had a terrific career. He leads the nation in rushing, averaging close to 152 yards per game. He's the all-time leading rusher here in Colorado football history. And that's really going back a long, long ways. Names like Charles Davis, Bobby Anderson, some great running backs, and Bieniemy's at the top of the class.
This could very well be the best offensive line in the nation, and another senior anchors that line, Joe Garton.
Yeah, Joe Garton's an excellent football player, maybe an overachiever in terms of his athletic ability. 43 career starts. Every game that he's played here as a Buffalo, he's been in the starting lineup.
Let's talk about Kansas State here for a second. They have a pretty good quarterback in Carl Straw, but we might not see a lot of him today.
Well, Carl Straw in his career has thrown for over 5,000 yards. He's got a bum right shoulder, so we don't know how long he expects to play. He's got two excellent wide receivers, and if Kansas State is to be successful here this afternoon, they need Carl Straw in the lineup.
All right, we'll be back very soon for the kickoff, but first, before we go to a commercial, let us indulge here just for 1 second. Channel 4 and the entire Colorado television community lost a friend this past week. Tom Piper, our former chief engineer, passed away at the age of 34. Tom had left the station nearly a year ago to return to his family's farm in southeastern Colorado. If he were still with us, he would have been responsible for the technical aspects of the picture and sound you are hearing and seeing today. Tom was recognized across the country as one of the brightest young minds in television engineering, and he was nominated for a regional Emmy for his work on our Boulder telecasts. Before coming to KCNC, Tom worked at television stations in Pueblo and Colorado Springs. He is survived by his wife Sharon and 3 children, Tom, Katie, and Abby. All of us at Channel 4 will miss not only Tom's technical expertise, but his friendship as well. We dedicate this telecast to Tom Piper's memory.
So, how many do we need?
1,500.
1,500?
1,500.
When you need copies fast, count on Kinko's, the copy center. We take care of the copies so you can take care of business. When it's after 5 and you need copies, depend on Kinko's, the copy center. We're open early, open late, and open weekends for your convenience. Get your copies before work, after work, almost any time. Kinko's, open early, open late, open weekends.
At Midas, we do brake work, not guesswork. That's why we give you a good price after we pull all 4 wheels and give you a free inspection. Then we spell out exactly what you're going to need, exactly what we're going to do, and exactly what it's going to cost. No surprises. We road test the job and guarantee every brake shoe and pad for as long as you own your car. Sure, we want your business, but not the expense of your safety. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
With winter upon us, Nissan would like to remind you that the Pathfinder SEV6 4-door was judged 4x4 of the year by 4-Wheel and Off-Road magazine. Don't get stuck with anything else.
1, 2, 3. Good love. Now give me that good, good love. Good love. All I need is love. Good love. Devil with the blues, 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 devil with the blues, well, take it, baby. Now take it up, baby.
For good times and great oldies, you gotta listen to Cool 105.
Another gorgeous day at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. And on the field right now, the public address announcer introducing each of the 24 CU seniors individually to a nice round of applause.
Well, as we said, these guys really the last 4 and some of these guys 5 years have put a lot of hard work in. It's an emotional game. It's the game that you finally realize this will be the last time you run out here behind that big Buffalo wearing the black and gold. And it's a game you always will remember. Nice to see these guys really get recognized in this fashion.
And these CU seniors have seen success like no other class of CU seniors in the past.
Oh, no question about it. They the first time last year they were ever ranked #1. This year they'll play for the national championship again, consecutive years. That's almost unheard of. O.C. Oliver now being introduced, had a tough career injury-wise, was a great player his freshman year.
Well, the Orange Bowl-bound CU Buffs are going for their 9th straight win, their 14th straight at home. If you're wondering, the record is 15. There's one heck of a senior, Mike Pritchard, one of the top all-purpose yardage men in the nation this year. Plus, the Buffs are going for their first ever back-to-back seasons of 10 wins or more. The series record between these two teams, well, CU leads it 33 wins to 12 losses. The Buffs have won the last 5 games. The last time Kansas State won here, Dave, was 1973, and you remember it well because you played in that game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do remember. That was Eddie Crowder's last game as the head coach of the CU Buffaloes. Bill Mallory took over the following year. You see Alfred Williams being introduced, blowing a few kisses. It's kind of like a parade. What a great, great group.
Well, as we mentioned, a gorgeous day here in Boulder. The temperature, a very nice 63 degrees, virtually no wind whatsoever, unusual for Boulder. And the forecast, well, it's going to stay sunny all day.
I mentioned the last time the guys get a run behind that Buffalo, and I tell you, when she takes off, it hits the gas pedal a bit. I was always glad I could run behind her and not be one of those guys that had to hang on to her.
Almost like the running of the bulls, isn't it?
Oh, man.
All right, let's go down to the field. Mark McIntosh is down there to give us reports all during the game, and Mark has one for us right now. Mac?
Thank you very much, Les. You guys have been talking about Eric Bieniemy. He's leading the nation in rushing. Well, this is the first time in 3 seasons he's played against Kansas State. His sophomore year, he pulled a hamstring the week before against Nebraska, didn't play against the Wildcats. Last year, as you might remember, he had that broken leg when the Buffs finished up the season against Kansas State and didn't play. And he told me this week he's really looking forward to playing, not only because it's his last game here in Folsom Field, but also he hadn't been able to rack up any yards against the Wildcats lately. So he's really looking forward to today's ball game. Back upstairs.
Thanks, Mark. Dave, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens near the end of the game if CU is well ahead. Will Bill McCartney keep Eric Bieniemy in the game knowing that the nation's rushing lead is at stake?
Well, I suspect he'll keep him in the game long enough to secure the victory. And you also have to give Bieniemy a chance to add a few yards. Missed the first game because of the suspension. And although I don't think Bill will take a chance of keeping him in too long and having some sort of injury take place, I think you owe it to your seniors in this, their last game, to play as many of them as you can as long as they possibly can go.
While keeping in mind you don't want to go into the Orange Bowl fighting for the national championship with any injuries to key players. Dave, is there any chance that the Buffs might be looking past Kansas State knowing what is ahead of them on New Year's Day?
Oh, sure. I mean, absolutely they are. They know that Notre Dame is down the road, and what you have to think is much the same as last week. Emotionally, this will be a team that will play just about as well as Kansas State will allow, and hopefully play as well as they need to win. But this will not be an overly emotional group, with the exception, of course, of those seniors being their last game.
And they must keep in mind that this Kansas State team is no pushover. They're nicknamed the Wildcats. They used to be called the Mild Cats. KSU was labeled one of the worst programs, if not the worst, Division I program in the country. Not just in recent years, but all time. From 1984 to 1989, KSU averaged 1 win per season. Averaged 1 win. There you see it right there. From 1985 up through this year, there were a couple years in there where they didn't win at all. But Bill Snyder has done a wonderful job turning this program around. This year so far they are 5-5, going for only their 2nd winning season in the last 20 years. The last time they were over 500 was in 1982. They went 7-4, and that is the only year that this program has gone to a bowl game. They played in the Independence Bowl. Now, Dave, there's a chance we might see an all-senior starting lineup for CU, isn't there? Well,
Bill McCartney in the past and other coaches have done the same thing. They get their seniors in, at least for the first couple of plays. I don't know that Bill will do that, but if he does, it's a nice way to say for some of the guys that will not continue to play, hey, at least I started my last game in college.
All right, set to kick off for Kansas State is number 39, Warren Clausen, a freshman. And back to receive for the Buffs, Mike Pritchard. Pritchard will take it about 4 yards deep. Makes the prudent move. Decides not to run that ball out. So CU will start with the ball at their own 20-yard line in the regular season finale. Here's the offense for CU at quarterback Darian Hagan. The running backs are Bieniemy, George Hemingway, a senior, and Michael Simmons. At receiver, Pritchard, and the tight end is Sean Brown. On the offensive line, we told you how good they are, possibly the best in the nation. Solomon, Garton, and Leuenberg, and on the right side, it's Campbell and Vanderpool. 1st and 10 for the Buffs from their own 20. Hagan going deep right off the bat to Rico Smith. Knocked out of his hands by number 8, C.J. Masters. So the Buffs right off the bat go for the big hit. The defense for Kansas State. They play an unconventional defense, 5 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. It goes like this: Killian, Williams, Simpson, Moten, and Alexander on the line. 2 linebackers are Chris Patterson and James Inanaku. The defensive backs are Price, Green, Needham, and C.J. Masters. 2nd and 10 for the Buffs. 2 running backs behind Hagan. Bieniemy gets the call and gets a couple of yards.
Kansas State defensively has been a much better team this year, and primarily because they've added some size. They are big across the front, 295 pounds. They've got a couple of guys over 270, and unlike previous years in which you could pretty much manhandle their front people, they've been able to stand up and play the run reasonably well.
We should mention Kansas State came to Boulder without its leading tackler, Brooks Barta, a sophomore linebacker. He hurt a knee last week against Oklahoma. 3rd and 9 for the Buffs. Hagan going deep once again, looking for Rico Smith, and he's got him this time in Kansas State territory, down to the 39-yard line before Roderick Green brings Smith down.
Well, the offensive line doing a pretty good job of pass protection. Hagan had all day, and Rico Smith going to the post. Well covered initially by Green, and then the ball underthrown. Green doesn't do a good job of adjusting to the flight of the football, and Rico Smith does. 39 yards later, Buffs have their first down.
Darian Hagan very close to breaking the record for passing yards in one season. He came into the game needing just 95 yards to pass Steve Vogel on the all-time list. 1st and 10 for the Buffs at the Kansas State 40. The pitch to Bieniemy. Eric is able to turn the corner and gets down to the 22-yard line. Masters there to finally stop him.
Well, this is just a good move by Eric Bieniemy as he ducks inside. He forces the Kansas State defense to really play that angle. Watch the move to the outside. And the stiff arm here. A good job as he prevents Green again from coming up and making the tackle. Bieniemy has much better speed than you would think, judging from his build. Looks more or less like a small guy, but he has got exceptionally quick feet and the ability to make people miss as well.
And as you saw, he read the blocking very, very well. Call it a gain of 17 yards. The Buffs down to the Kansas State 23-yard line. 1st down. Hagan wanted to run the option there, but tripped over his own feet. It'll be a loss of maybe 1 yard.
Well, Darian Hagan really has been banged up much of this year. It has not been a vintage Hagan year, although he certainly has turned into a pretty good passer. But unlike last year, he has not been the explosive runner from the quarterback position. And I think mainly due to all the injuries he's had, he's never been 100% healthy since the season opened.
It's just the last couple games, Hagan has looked like the Darian Hagan of old. It'll be 2nd and 10. Kansas State bringing the blitz. Bieniemy tries to turn it outside that time again, but no, sir. William Price makes the tackle. Gain of 1 yard.
You can see Hagan and Bieniemy talking. That time Kansas State brought the blitz, and sometimes if you can see that coming quick enough, you can audible out of the play and get into something better. But that time Kansas State doing a good job of disguising the blitz. number 76 on your screen, Evan Simpson, 315 pounds at the nose.
3rd and 10.
Blitz.
Hagan read it. Saw an opening. He's got an open highway to the end zone. Touchdown, Darian Hagan.
But one of the things that makes Hagan such a dangerous quarterback, he's got the ability to throw, but he also has innate ability to scramble. You can see the thing open up, and once Hagan breaks that line of scrimmage, nobody's going to catch him. He's only had one 100-yard rushing game this year, but certainly excellent in that first drive, throwing and running.
Darian Hagan's 4th rushing touchdown of the year. And Jim Harper is in for the extra point attempt. He's got it, and the Buffs have a 7-0 lead with 12:02 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, the meeting with Nakamura went great. The way he was talking, it sounds like a done deal if we can deliver the plans by the 30th. Or we've got to give him a yes or no answer before he leaves town. Look, I gotta go. He said he called from the airport. It's in the bag.
Don't miss those important calls. Call U.S. West for an extra line just for your special customers. U.S. West, making the most of your time.
Yeah, I'll get the scoop. Here they come now.
Hold on to your hats, boys, and I'll tell you all about it. Your Colorado GMC truck dealers are having the biggest, easiest truck sale ever. Cool your heels, boys, and take a look. Roll it, Billy. As you can see, the all-wheel drive Safari's no ordinary minivan.
Any discounts from the dealers?
You kidding? Dealer discounts and cash back.
Sounds too good to last. When's the gig up?
Soon, real soon, so you better step on it. Get discounts, cash back, low interest rates. It's the big easy sale at your local Colorado GMC truck dealer.
It is a beautiful time of the year, heavy with excited anticipation of a joyous season where family and friends gather. It is the ritual of winter season, when all gather for Thanksgiving and joy. This holiday, make sure you are ready with beautiful new dining room furniture from Howard Lorton. For a limited time, enjoy extraordinary savings on any dining room in stock, ready for holiday delivery. It's available now, and only at Howard Lorton, Colorado's leader in quality home furnishings and interior design.
Well, Darian Hagan threw for 237 yards last week as the Buffaloes beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The play-action fake, and he stands in there long enough to let things develop, but when nothing opens, Hagan is off to the races. He still has exceptional speed, and everybody in a man-to-man cover situation with their backs turned to the quarterback. By the time they knew Hagan was running, it was way too late. 7 plays, 80 yards, and less than 3 minutes to open the game with a touchdown scoring drive.
And let's give some credit to that offensive line. Gave Hagan all day to eye the field and finally see that opening on the left side. Harper kicking off. And that's number 28, Andre Coleman, returning for Kansas State. He's got room on the sideline, finally knocked out of bounds. The officials spotting it at the 33.5-yard line. Greg Lindsey knocked him out. Here's the Kansas State offense. Number 10, Carl Straw, with a tender right shoulder starting at quarterback. The running backs are Boyd and Pat Jackson. And your receivers are Russ Campbell, Frank Hernandez, and Michael Smith. A very good pair in Hernandez and Smith. On the line, it's Orr, Grush, New Year, Wolford, and Guloy. Kansas State, 1st and 10 from its own 34. Keep your eye on these wide receivers. If Carl Straw's shoulder is okay, he'll be able to get it to those two. They are dangerous. And K-State comes out throwing. That's Hernandez making the reception. Well, the officials call it no. Dave McCluen knocked it out of his hand.
Yeah, McCluen got his left hand on the ball just as Hernandez was going to pull it in. This was an audible by Straw. McCluen breaks on the football. He's got very good speed. Saw an interesting article this week that said one of the reasons McCluen cannot play corner in the National Football League is because his lack of blazing speed. The guy runs 4.35.
I saw that too. I couldn't believe it. He's got to be, if not the fastest person on this team, the second fastest behind Rico Smith.
Absolutely. He's got excellent speed.
2nd and 10 for Kansas State. They are coming out throwing. A little dump off pass to Michael Smith. He gets the first down out at the 47. Greg Biekert knocked him for a loop.
We've talked about Kansas State being an improved football team as you take a look at the defense.
On the line for the Buffs, Marcellus Elder, Joel Steed, Gary Howe, the linebackers, a good bunch. Alfred Williams, Beaker, Terry Johnson, and Canavis McGee. Johnson still playing for Chad Brown, who has mononucleosis. And the defensive backs are McLuhan, Figures, James, and Thomas. The first three are seniors playing their last home game for CU. Kansas State with another first down from the 47. This time the draw goes to Pat Jackson. Wiggles his way across midfield down to the Buffs' 46. Greg Thomas stopped him.
Pat Jackson, some 34 yards away, coming into today's contest from going over 1,000 yards. He's a nice compliment back, especially for a good passing team. I was going to say Kansas State, an improved football team this year. They've already won 5 games. They beat Iowa State. They beat Oklahoma State. They lost to Kansas 27-24, so they really have taken tremendous strides in getting this thing turned around. You take a look at the rushing yards, and it's been an improved Kansas State Wildcat team this year without question.
2nd and 3 from the Buffs' 46. Jackson again, this time racked up quickly by the nose tackle, Joel Steed.
If you watch the Wildcats offense and you see those tight ends standing up with their hands to their hips and you say, where have I seen that before? Iowa runs the very same offense. Bill Snyder, of course, came off the Hawkeye staff, and he brought a lot of things that Iowa has done recently. Of course, those tight ends stand up in the Hayden Fry offense all the time.
3rd and 3 for the Wildcats. 10.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Another quick pass. Again to Michael Smith. And he is inside the Buffs' 40-yard line.
Well, this is just a good job of picking up the blitz. Colorado trying to put pressure on Straw up the middle. Smith reads the blitz, as does Carl Straw. And the side adjust with the receiver breaking to the outside. James has to run all the way from his free safety spot and make the tackle. And that's one as an offense. You hope you can make a guy miss, because had Smith made James miss, he was off to the races.
Michael Smith, an honorable mention All-American last year. The only all-conference player for Kansas State. Why? Well, he made 70 catches last year. Outrageous for a college wide receiver. 1st and 10 from the Buffs' 40-yard line. Straw looked like he wanted to hold back on that pass. The ball went far out of bounds. Incomplete. Keep in mind, one of the reasons Kansas State is going so much to the short pass is because Straw does have a badly bruised shoulder, suffered last week against Oklahoma. They do like to go long to Hernandez and Smith. We might not see too much of that today, however, because of Straw's condition. 2nd and 10. Another dump off, this time to the tight end, Russ Campbell. There's a fumble. Greg Biekert, it looks like Greg Biekert, number 19 for the Buffs, fell on that ball. And the officials are pointing the other way. It's the CU Buffs with the ball.
Well, this was a well set up screen. Initially, the tight end screen in the flat. Campbell had a chance to duck behind the blockers and pick up some additional yardage, but he gets blasted. You can see Campbell just fall back, watch him cut into the left, and he really takes a shot right there by Greg Thomas. Thomas puts his hat right on the ball, and Canavis McGee, I think, comes up with the fumble recovery.
You're right. Biekert and Thomas hit him. Canavis McGee, the fumble recovery. So the Buffs will start with it, 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Boy, Campbell, holding that ball out in front of him, was just asking for it. Hagan fumbles the ball, bounces right back into his arms, and Darien gets it across the 40 to the 42. A first down for the Buffs.
Well, this is the kind of play, when you drop the football, you're just hoping that you drop it on the side and not on the tip. You hope that you get a good bounce. And Hagan, boy, has excellent hands. He reaches down and picks it up and winds up picking up some 7 yards.
Now, you could stand on that field and drop a ball 100 times, and 99 out of 100 times it will not bounce right back up into your hands.
And also, you don't even miss a stride picking it up.
2nd and 4. This is Bieniemy. picks up the first down and a little more across midfield down to the Kansas State 48. Enan Oka and C.J. Masters bring him down.
Well, a free safety against option football makes a lot of tackles, and Masters is going to be involved many, many times. You can see there as he closes in on Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy kind of hops into the hole, and he really has great vision. He picks up the free safety. He also can see when the pursuit comes from the inside. Looks like Eric may have shaken himself up just a little bit in the last run.
C.J. Masters has 4 or 5 tackles already, which means the Buffs are getting into the secondary quickly. Hagan looking deep again. Overthrown. The intended receiver, Mike Pritchard. I'm a little surprised. The Buffs, not a team to go deep too often, have already tried it 3 times in their first 2 series.
And Green had excellent coverage that time on Pritchard. Mike was never open. Well, you want to do a lot of things in your last game because obviously Notre Dame will have this film. You want to show them that you're not afraid to throw the ball deep, that you've got good speed on the outside, you can get deep. They already know you can run the football. All they got to do is watch last year's first half of the Orange Bowl.
2nd and 10 for the Buffs from the Kansas State 48. The option. Hagan keeps it. A lot of room. A nice cut back and down to the 25-yard line. Darian Hagan looks to be in primo shape today.
Well, what a great block by George Hemingway. Watch the fullback the whole way. Watch number 22 as he leads Hagan up the field. You lose him a little bit, but right there as he knocks the legs out from underneath C.J. Masters, that's the block that Hagan has to have. Of course, then Darian is athletically talented enough to make something good happen, but George Hemingway, a great job of leading that quarterback to the hole and then turning up the field, and the first white jersey that shows he knocked down.
Does Darian Hagan look like he's running as well as he has all year?
Absolutely. Looks good.
1st and 10 from the Kansas State 25. This is Chucky Snowden in the ball game, giving Bieniemy a rest, and Snowden gets 5 yards on his first carry of the afternoon.
We've talked a lot about Chuck Snowden, a slasher. He's going to be a different style of running back that in the next few years than what you have grown accustomed to with Eric Bieniemy. He's a little bit taller than EB. Reminds me a little bit, and certainly not to compare him to Chuck Foreman, but the same style of running.
Snowden grew up right in the backyard here, went to Fairview High School. Led the Knights to a state championship a few years ago. 2nd and 5. Snowden again. Close to the first down. Right around the 15-yard line. They're going to call it 3rd down with 1 yard to go. Snowden will come out of the game, and Eric Bieniemy will come back in. Here's how the Wildcats do it on 3rd down. Pretty well. Opponents have converted just 34% of the time. No, these are certainly not the Wildcats anymore. All right, we're going to take a timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
This is it. There's only one light beer with big draft taste. Cold filtered, genuine draft light.
Yeah, we're gonna need some help up here, over.
After millions and millions of hours in the air, after 17 years of staying up all night, every night, so that your packages can be delivered overnight to any address in America, Federal Express has become the first service company ever to win the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. It's the highest honor in American business. And just how did we do this? By being absolutely, positively the best in the business.
We could spend 30 seconds talking about the 1991 Pontiac Grand Am priced at just $94.24. But we'll let the Grand Am speak for itself. 1991 Pontiac Grand Am at $94.24. Plus, qualified first-time new car buyers can get an additional $600 cash back for the ride of your life.
See your local Colorado Pontiac dealer.
Well, Eric Bieniemy, the nation's leading rusher, and he's got certainly a different style for footwear. That's black tape. He colors it black after he tapes his ankles. He spats, and then he uses the magic marker, and I'm not sure what that looks like, but it certainly works.
Why do you tape your shoes up like that?
It gives you a little support. Your ankles some more support. Also looks good.
3rd and 1 for the Buffs. Bieniemy gets the carry and picks up the first down inside the 15-yard line. You might have also noticed that Eric Bieniemy has a little extra padding on his back there. He did suffer some bruised ribs last week. Well, previous to that carry, the Buffs have been very successful on the ground. They're averaging 10.5 yards a carry so far today. They're already close to the 100-yard mark.
And Bieniemy is averaging close to 6 yards per carry on the season. So it goes to show you the type running attack this team really has.
1st and 10 for the Buffs from the Kansas State 14. The pitch to the enemy. Gets it to the 10 before he's knocked out of bounds by C.J. Masters. Eric Bieniemy, in every game but one this year, has gone for 100 yards or more. And in that one game he didn't, against Texas, he ran for 99 yards.
A look at Bill Snyder, and again, a terrific job in Manhattan. Let's face it, apathy really for the Kansas State football team the last few years, and it's tough to overcome that. It's tough to not only generate enough wins, but just to have enough enthusiasm. You can have a viable program.
2nd and 6 for the Buffs. Hagan goes over the middle. Nobody anywhere near that pass, however, and it'll be 3rd down.
Colorado trying to tune up the passing game, and that man knows that in order to beat teams like Notre Dame and Nebraska and Oklahoma, the very elite teams in the country, you've got to have a good mixture of the pass and the run. Let's go to Mark McIntosh for more on the sideline.
Thanks, Dave. You've been talking about K-State. You know, earlier in the year, they had victories over Western Illinois, New Mexico State, and New Mexico. And a lot of people said, well, anybody can beat cupcakes like that. But Schneider was saying the main thing we need right now is victories. These guys got to start tasting victory, know what it's like, and it's worked out well.
3rd and 6, Darian Hagan into the end zone again. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the day.
And again, a great job up front by the CU line, and Kansas State is trying to take away the pitch man, and so Hagan is able to cut up and make positive yards. He's done that much of the first quarter.
Well, you know he's healthy when he's running the ball up the middle and putting his head down to go into the end zone.
You can see the push from the gold helmets really establishing the line of scrimmage and Hagan into the secondary. The last few yards just doing it by himself.
Darian Hagan, last year the Sporting News Player of the Year in college ball. Flags on the field during the extra point attempt. Let's see what the call is.
Dead ball, offsides, on the defense. The option rests with the offense. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Tony Williams came across, and Jay Lewinberg, the center, wound up sitting right in his fanny after the contact.
Buffs trying to make it a 14-0 lead. Jim Harper doing the kicking. Charles Johnson will hold. And it's blocked, but the ball still gets through the goalpost. The extra point attempt blocked, but it's still good. And the Buffs take a 14-0 lead with 6:28 to go in the first quarter.
And another fine drive by Colorado. And again, Darian Hagan off to one of his better starts of the year.
Well, the Buffs off to one of their better starts of the year. They don't usually jump out like this.
When you play an option team, you certainly try to take away what that particular team does best. And if you go back and you chart this football team, it's Eric Bieniemy between the tackles or Bieniemy on the pitch. Yes, they slide the fullback in there from time to time, but Hagan really has not been a contributor, at least running the football too much in recent weeks. So Kansas State comes in, they say, we've got to stop Bieniemy, you've got to watch the fullback. And what they've done in the early going, they've completely forgotten about Hagan, and he is an explosive kid. I mean, he has been hurt a lot this year, but certainly capable when healthy, and he looks to be healthy today. 10 plays, 65 yards of the drive. And Colorado off to a, as you mentioned, Les, pretty good start.
You make a great point. If you look at the films of CU previous to this game, they have not gone to the eye bone much, and they have not run Hagan much, and it's because of his health. And now this is an extra added dimension for a team that's already ranked second in the country.
And again, it gives teams like Notre Dame, their next opponents, something else to worry about. You know they understand what Bieniemy means to the team, and they'll try to stop the fullback. And yes, Hagan can throw, but now Hagan's involved in running the football as well. And they've got to force themselves to contend with that.
Jim Harper, the junior for the Buffs, will be kicking off to a couple of freshmen, Andre Coleman and Kit Rawlings. And Harper really gets a lot of leg into this one. Out of the end zone, Kansas State will start with it at its own 20. We have 6:28 to go in this first quarter.
Couple of scores for you. Baylor leading Rice 17-0. Syracuse 31, West Virginia 7. That's in the third quarter. Clemson 14, South Carolina 3. Yale leading Harvard at halftime 20-0. And Illinois 10, Indiana 7. That's also at half.
I had that Yale-Harvard game pegged.
I have never seen a Yale-Harvard game. I'd like to sometime.
Carl Straw with that bruised right shoulder, still in a quarterback for Kansas State. When you're dumping off passes quickly, as he has today, you don't get hit all that much, and that's another reason they're running that type of offense. To the tight end, Biekert hits him, and we'll get a flag here. Biekert hit him a little early.
Well, Campbell started on the right side of the formation, just a simple crossing route. He'll come from your right to the left. Straw tries to get in the ball, and Biekert hits him early, and of course, the linebackers in a zone drop. They just wait for somebody to come into their territory.
Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul. First down.
Biekert got there just a little bit early.
It is an automatic first down for Kansas State. They gained 2 yards out of that play. Speaking of other games today, I think a lot of people here are keeping an eye on Notre Dame hosting Penn State. First and 10 from the 22. Two wide receivers are Hernandez and Smith. The give goes to Jackson. He gets nowhere. Joel Steed and Leonard Renfro putting up quite a wall there. Renfro still nursing a bit of an Achilles heel problem. Well enough to play, however. In fact, the Buffs are healthy altogether. Let's go down to the field right now and Mark McIntosh.
You might be able to see right now trainer Dave Burton working on center Jay Lewinberg. One thing the Buffs want to avoid today is injuries, but on the last extra point, Jay Lewinberg hurt his left ankle. He says he heard something pop in there. Dave Burton is taping him up. He should go back in the ball game, and hopefully we'll be all right. Back upstairs.
Carl Straw, sideline pattern, incomplete. Just when I mentioned they're healthy, we see a shot of Jay Lewinberg getting tended to.
Straw's a pretty good quarterback. He's at his best when you allow him to stand in the pocket. When you force him to move from side to side, it really throws off his accuracy. And when you can't run the football, or you really haven't established the running game, you've got to be a pretty good throwing outfit to move the ball against CU. Teams early have done it, but not many have done it without at least a semblance of a running game.
3rd and 11 for Kansas State. On that last play, defensive lineman Gary Howe might have gotten a hand on that pass attempt. Alfred Williams with pressure. Straw gets it off over the head of the intended receiver, Frank Hernandez. Incomplete, and we'll have our first punt of the afternoon. Dave McCluen was the pass defender there. Did a good job on Hernandez. Well, last week the Buffs rotated punt returners, Dave McCluen and Rico Smith. Today it'll be McCluen starting out back there. And the punter for Kansas State is Chris Cobb. Averages a little more than 37 yards a punt. McCluen, one of the better punt returners in the nation. 15 yards a return. Cobb gets off a nice kick. McCluen will return it. He has room across midfield, across the 40, inside the 35-yard line. John Butler finally stopped him, but not before McLuhan brings it deep into Kansas State territory with 5:21 to go in the quarter. The Buffs lead it 14-0.
I was sold on Toyotas after my '83 4x4. I got over half of what I paid for it when I traded it in, and I figure it cost me about $75 a month to own.
The cost of owning a new Toyota just dropped even more, thanks to the biggest option package discounts in Toyota history. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on option packages on the affordable Corolla and up to $900 on tough Toyota trucks. So now the cars that cost less to own cost even less than ever to buy. Drop by your Toyota dealer now, and the cost of owning a new Toyota is dropping.
I'm Carl Mecklenburg, and I'm dressed for action.
And I'm Carl Mecklenburg, and I'm dressed for action. And no matter what I wear, I know I'll find the fit, quality, and service I'm looking for at Kaufman's. I'm hard to fit. Never could find what I wanted. Now I buy my clothes right off the rack. And there's so much to choose from, I can't decide what to wear. Now cut that out.
For the right fit, be sure to stop the Kaufman's Tall and Big Shop.
Let's talk about the anatomy of a coat. Sleeves keep our arms warm. Buttons and zippers shield us from wind. And hoods protect our heads.
Yes, coats are important, but not everyone can afford one. So donate to Coats for Colorado.
Drop off your old coats at any dependable cleaners and you'll get 25% off the cleaning of your own coat. Because the long and the short of it is, nobody should face a winter without a coat. So give to Coats for Colorado.
One of the things that makes Dave McLuhan such a great punt returner, he sets up his blockers. Look to the right of the screen, Chris Patterson running down to linebacker number 34. This little move right there will freeze Patterson. Rose circles behind him, gets a good block. Ronnie Bradford with a good block. You got to do a little bit on your own, and McLuhan has shown that ability. But setting up blocks as a punt returner is one of the keys to really being successful, and both Rico Smith and Dave McLuhan have had their moments.
34-yard punt return from McLuhan. It's 1st and 10 for the Buffs. Complete to Pritchard. Stays on his feet. Drags a couple defenders down to the 17-yard line. Roderick Green grabs him by the ankles. Finally stops him.
Boy, Hagan looked like one of the nasty boys here. This thing gets out there in a hurry. Pritchard, you can see the cornerback doesn't even have a chance to close the gap. Green with the tackle. Pritchard is a threat to score on every play, so you have to get him the football. Mike, this year, every time he's touched the ball, has averaged 19 yards.
1st and 10 from the 17. This is Bieniemy. Bounces his way down to the 11. Call it a gain of 6. Evan Simpson, 315 pounds of Evan Simpson brings Bieniemy down. Boy, how would you like to feed him every day? Eric Bieniemy came into the day 175 yards short of rushing for 4,000 yards in his CU career. Only 3 men have done that in CU history. 2nd and 4 for the Buffs. 4:10 to go in this first quarter. That's George Hemingway's first run of the day. He gets a yard, and Simpson falls on him.
Well, you can see Kansas State is really concentrated on stopping the fullback and making sure they take the pitch man away. Hemingway's a guy you have to give the football to 4 or 5 times a game because he keeps that defense honest, and he keeps those inside linebackers there for a split second so they can't run to the option wings.
See, you're doing a great job today of mixing things up. Kansas State doesn't know what is going to be thrown at them, it seems. 3rd and 3 from the 10-yard line. Bieniemy brought down at the 10. No gain. James Inanokut rode him like a rodeo rider.
And there's one of the linebackers that got good penetration. Bieniemy again on the lead, tries to follow Hemingway, but good penetration forces Eric to bounce out, and Inanokut right there, as linebackers are supposed to be, with the tackle.
Like wrestling a steer down to the ground. Jim Harper will attempt the field goal for the Buffs. This is a 28-yard attempt. And Harper's got it. And the Buffs go up 17-0 with 2:53 to go in the first quarter. Jim Harper now 14 for 21 on the year in field goal attempts.
Talk about the success this team has had. Jim Harper, one of the JC transfers. They really have hit the jackpot in terms of what some of those JC kids have meant. Rico Smith, another JC transfer, has been a valuable addition.
This telecast is an exclusive presentation of KCNC-TV and the National Broadcasting Company. It is intended for the private use of our audience only. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this game without the expressed written consent of KCNC-TV is prohibited. A good look at the head coach, Bill Snyder, and his quarterback, Carl Straw. What a job Bill Snyder has done here. He's in his second year, and the record is 6-15. It doesn't sound too good, but keep in mind what he was coming into. This year, at 5-5, they are close to having their first winning season since 1982. Back to return are Rawlings and Coleman. Rawlings fields it 5 yards deep. Will not bring it out. Kansas State needs to muster something here quickly, or they're going to find themselves out of this ball game at a very early stage. Boy, if you would tell anybody else around the country that you could come to a football game at the end of November in short sleeves, they'd call you crazy. But here it is.
Or lucky.
First and 10 from the 20. Carl Straw looking things over. Taking his time, we're down to 5 seconds. He needs to get that play off in 5 seconds, and he does. The pitch to Jackson. Tries to turn the corner, but McCluam knocks him out of bounds at the 22.
Kansas State trying to run the football a little bit. As we said, pretty tough to beat this defense if you have to throw the ball all the time, although Kansas State really is a better passing team than running team. The option, Straw right to Alfred Williams. He doesn't take the football to him enough, and he allows Alfred almost to play the quarterback and still get involved in playing the pitch man. When you run the option, you're going to take that football right to the outside guy, force him to stop you, and then pitch it.
2nd and 8. Folks here at Folsom Field doing the wave. We've got another sellout crowd. That's 5 out of the last 6 games the Buffs have sold out. Straw is hit. Doesn't get the pass off the way he intended. It was Gary Howe nailing him as he was throwing the ball.
And then he helped him up. You know, sometimes quarterbacks kind of like to lay down there a little bit and help themselves up. Colorado with a field goal in the last scoring drive, 5 plays, 24 yards. And Kansas State, in the hurry-up offense, faces 3rd down and about 8.
Well, it's easy to show the team a little courtesy when you're up 17-0 in the first quarter. 3rd and 8. Carl Straw still trying to read the signals that are coming in from the sideline as to what play to call.
He actually calls the play at the line of scrimmage without the huddle.
More good pressure. This time Straw gets it off to number 90, the tight end Al Jones. And he gets it across the 35 before before he's brought down. Gary Howe put the pressure on the quarterback.
Good job by Straw as he kind of slides to the left and buys himself some time. Watch Straw back in the pocket. Nothing open, couple of steps to the left, get you a couple more seconds, and there's the pass completion to Al Jones, who just hooked up in the middle of the field. A nice, big, inviting target, and Kansas State with a 1st down. If you give this guy some time, he really can hurt you. They're calling the plays at the line of scrimmage based on what he sees in the secondary. Colorado has gone to a nickel coverage with 5 defensive backs in the game.
Over the middle, complete. Up to the 48-yard line. That's Frank Hernandez. That's very different, Dave. Going to the line of scrimmage, the coach looks at the defense that is set up and then calls the play in. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the quarterback does. The quarterback looks at the defense, and again, just an in pattern here. Nice job by Straw stepping up in the pocket. A good catch by Hernandez. He's at the line of scrimmage now. He looks at the secondary, and he tries to get some sort of pre-snap read. It's what you think the secondary will do. You then will call the play. you audible into the necessary play, the backs will switch, and away you go.
Well, the way I'm seeing it, the coach is also taking a look at the defense and then calling the play into Straw. That's Jackson. Gets it inside the 45-yard line. There is a lot of commotion going on that field after Kansas State sets up, but it's working. Down to the 43-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 1.
Now, this is the quarterback. There's not a coach signaling the plays. He's signaling the set behind you, but the quarterback's got to make the right read as to what the defense is.
I see. So it's a combination of both.
Sure.
They're calling the play in tandem, really. This is Jackson inside the 40, down to the 39. And another first down for Kansas State. Leonard Renfro, the tackle.
See, the coach of the field may signal in the formation that he wants to get in, but the quarterback is the only guy that can really see what the secondary alignment will be in terms of the pre-snap read. The coach is going to have a tough time seeing that from the sideline. What if we get a shot of that? The coach now will signal in. There's Carl Straw looking like Darth Vader. I hate playing quarterbacks that you can't see where he's looking. I think secondary guys like to see those eyes.
Well, about 5 people on Kansas State's offense just shifted. Jackson will run it. Deion Figures nails him at the 36. Gain of about 3. We're down to 45 seconds left in this first quarter.
And again, because they don't get in a huddle, you limit Colorado defensively in terms of their substitution. You can still call different defensive coverages, but you make them do it on the run, and you make them stay with those people, the same people on the field. He's just got the formation. Now he'll call the play. Wide receivers have to come in tight because they can't hear. The tight end will get it. He'll tell the wide receiver on the wide side.
This is like a fire drill down on the field for Kansas State. 2nd and 6. Straw with a deep drop. Ooh. They set up for a screen to Jackson, but CU had it well covered.
I tell you, Greg Thomas was about to make the reception and go the other way with it from his free safety spot. Straw trying to draw the rush to him and dump the screen. I think what he's talking about there is the noise level. Can he hear the play? And of course, the referee is the one that has to make the call. Today's referee, Larry Fisher, and he decides if it's in fact too noisy for the quarterback to go ahead with the play.
I tell you have to be a well-disciplined team to attempt to do what Kansas State is doing on every play. Watch all the men shift as Straw looks to the sideline. Well, he might not do it this time because he's setting up over center. 3rd and 6. Jackson on the draw. Close to the first down. Joel Steed, the tackle. Very close to the first down.
It looks like he's about 2.5 inches short.
You have better eyes than I do, Mr. Logan.
See if I'm right. Pretty good call there. 3rd and long. Colorado in the nickel coverage. You slip Jackson, the running back, up through the middle. You're sure going to get pressure from the outside.
You might be right. 2.5 inches. I don't know, Dave. It looks like about 3 inches to me.
I was off there, wasn't I? No doubt here you got to go for it. Pretty good drive by Kansas State. You need to answer 17 straight points by Colorado.
It's 4th and 1. Kansas State needs it, if for nothing else, a confidence boost. 2 tight ends in the ball game now. Campbell and Al Jones.
In short yardage situations, they go down to a 3-point stance.
Official timeout. I believe Carl Straw. No, that's the end of the quarter. The end of the quarter. CU leads it 17-0. We'll be right back at Folsom Field.
Whoa, Taco Bell done it again, my friend. Taco Bell done it again. They got 3 new menus, 3 low prices. Goodness gracious, now everything I like is $59.79.99. Even Taco Supreme, Nacho Supreme, 3 new menus. Somebody tell Louise. Wow, $59.79.99. Run for the border, don't waste time. 3 new menus, Taco Bell done it again. Wow.
15,000 miles, your car can start to lose acceleration because regular unleaded gasoline may not be enough. Now's the time to turn to silver. Higher octane Eneco Silver can bring back the power. And remember, when you drive, make every gallon count.
Bronco fans, get front row seats and see the Dan Reeves Show live and in person. All you have to do is write Dan Reeves Show tickets. P.O. Box 5012, Denver, Colorado 80217. Watch Bob's Colorado, Sunday at 5 and 10 on News 4. Today's game is being brought to you by Grease Monkey and by Samsonite, both proud companies for Colorado. And also by Taco Bell, by U.S. West, and by Miller Genuine Draft Light.
Les Shapiro and Dave Logan back at Folsom Field, and we always know where Dave Logan is on Sunday night. He's in our KCNC studio hosting the Bill McCartney Show, Sundays at 10:35, following the News 4 Late Edition, right here on Channel 4, the home of the CU Buffs. Boy, it must be easy to do a coach's show when you're 9-1-1, huh?
I was thinking about this. I talked to Bill. We've had one losing coach's show in 2 years. That's kind of easy duty, isn't it?
That is amazing. Over the last 2 regular seasons, the Buffs are 21-1. Kansas State going for it on 4th down. They need 1 yard. Straw with the sneak. And it looks like he picks it up. It is a 1st down. Carl Straw gets it on the quarterback sneak. And Kansas State down to the Buffs' 29-yard line. Here are your first quarter stats.
Both teams really have had pretty good success moving the football. Kansas State's turned it over one time. CU with over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter, almost 200 yards of total offense, and Kansas State has put together a pretty nice drive here.
One running back behind Straw, and that's Pat Jackson. Action Jackson, as they like to call him in Manhattan. He's gotten a lot of action this afternoon. Straw on a down and out pattern to Frank Hernandez. That's complete. Dave McLuhan on the coverage.
Boy, lots of games before the ball is snapped. Colorado walks up. They fake the blitz. Kansas State audibles. Colorado walks back off. And the nice little quick out pass by Carl Straw. When you play a team that can throw the football, you have to give them a lot of looks defensively. You can't sit in one coverage because they're much too good for that. You fake the blitz, you fake the safety. The corner walks up, he walks off. You're always moving in the defensive secondary.
They gained 6 yards last play, so it's 2nd and 4. Straw complete to the tight end Russ Campbell inside the 10-yard line, and that'll be another Kansas State 1st down. Straw getting that pass off with a lot of pressure. It was Gary Howe in his face again.
You see Campbell, a fairly productive tight end. This is a play that Iowa State hurt Colorado with. The play action fake to one side, the tight end up the seam to the other, and Figures and Thomas, along with Beaker, finally pull him down.
First and 10 for Kansas State from the 10-yard line. And another out pattern. This time it's dropped by the normally reliable Michael Smith.
Catch they should have made. They had trips to the right side, and Smith tried to stop and almost regain his balance, and in the meantime hold on to the football. Had Straw led Smith to the sideline, he might have scored in that play.
Very unusual for him to drop a ball like that. He is 7th on the all-time pass-catching list in Big 8 history. 5'10", 155-pound junior. He'll be back next year. 2nd and 10 for Kansas State. This time to give to the fullback, Rod Schiller, but Gary Howe is there to stop him. Howe very active today.
Of course, we've talked about Gary Howe much of this year. He's a guy that doesn't stay blocked very long. The left side of your screen, fights off the block and gets to Schiller. A well-designed play. Kansas State with 3 receivers to the right side, trying to outflank Colorado, make them shift defensively, but Howe got good penetration.
You know, Howe has had such a good season, but you don't hear his name mentioned a lot by NFL scouts. Why is that?
Well, he's undersized. He's a 6-foot defensive tackle, and I think has a chance to play in the NFL, especially at nose.
3rd and 11. Straw dumps it off, almost intercepted by Greg Biekert. If anybody had a chance at it, it was him.
You know, Biekert read Straw the entire way, knew the football was coming, probably was saying, here it comes as he's going down, and then he just couldn't hang on. Linebackers don't get many opportunities like that. I'm sure Greg realizes it.
Kansas State will try to put its first points of the board up today. Tate Wright, the field goal attempt, approximately 28 yards. He is 7 for 13 on the year. And it is perfect. Kansas State with its first 3 points of the day. The Buffs lead it 17-3. We have 12:38 to go in this first half.
Come winter, you see most sports cars at their worst, if you see them at all. Unless your sports car is an all-wheel drive Eagle Talon TSI with 195 horses to keep you dashing through the snow. To go anywhere, anytime, Talon TSI. Reasons to own one keep piling up. Now save on a special allotment of Talons at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
See your local Jeep Eagle dealer.
Sir, I want you to stand right here for me, okay? Go ahead and get your hands out of your pockets. Go ahead and stand face me. Put your heels and toes together. All the way together. All the way together. Do you see my pen right here in front of your eyes? Yes. I want you to follow my pen, okay? With your eyes only. Okay, sir. Go ahead and turn around. You have anything in a gun? No. Go ahead and turn around. Give me your hands to the back. Okay, you're under arrest for DWI, sir, okay? We're going to go downtown for intoxicated test, okay?
Whoa, Taco Bell done it again, my friend. Taco Bell done it again. They got 3 new menus, 3 low prices. Goodness gracious, now everything I like is $59.79.99. Even Taco Supreme, Nacho Supreme, 3 new menus. Somebody tell Louise. Wow, $59.79.99. Run for the border, don't waste time. 3 new menus, Taco Bell done it again. Wow.
CU has already clinched at least a tie for the Big 8 conference title. They're going to the Orange Bowl. They're off to a pretty good start today, looking for that outright title in the Big 8. A 17-3 lead. Mike Pritchard back to receive the kick for Kansas State. Pritchard takes it at the 5. Across the 25, brought down at the 29. Danny Needham stopped them before he could get to that sideline and take off.
Pretty impressive by Kansas State. 15 plays, they went 69 yards. They were forced to kick the 28-yard field goal, but they kept the Colorado offense off the field for over 5 minutes, which was one of the goals Bill Snyder had established coming into today's game.
Darian Hagan at quarterback. Looking to throw. A wide open tight end, Sean Brown. Across midfield down to the 46.
We mentioned the JC transfers and Jim Harper, also Rico Smith. This is the 3rd of 3, and Sean Brown really has done a great job stepping in for John Bowman. A good throw by Hagan, but what a catch by Sean Brown. He leans down, keeps his feet, and picks up a first down.
Well, he showed us great hands last week. Nice touchdown catch against Oklahoma State at the Shoe Tops.
I'll tell you, if you've got a tight end that can catch the football, if you look at his numbers for the year, it really makes you a tough team.
1st and 10 from the 46 of Kansas State. This is Hagan. Goes down at the 35. He could have picked up another couple of yards if he hadn't tripped. And right now he's making fun of himself for tripping. Let's go down to the field and Mark McIntosh.
Thank you very much, guys. You've been talking a lot about the JUCO transfers that have helped out the Buffs this year. Rico Smith, Jimmy Harper, Sean Brown. We'll take a closer look at those 3 at halftime. A little feature on the JUCO jump start that has helped the Buffs this year to that fine record and the Big 8 championship. Back upstairs.
All right, looking forward to that at halftime. We are 11 minutes and 50 seconds away from halftime. Buffs with another first down. Hagan to a wide open Pritchard. He's got so much room he can dance around and put a few moves on before he can bring it inside the 20. We're giving him a little too much room.
Well, the reason he's got so much room, again, I mean, the Rob Dibble pass, this thing gets out there quickly. And Hagan, you can see once he catches it, he's got Green in a mess. Nice cutback move. Mike Pritchard is the big play guy for this team, and I think NFL scouts envision him as somewhat of an all-around player, capable of playing inside. He can play outside. He can even spot duty at running back if he has to.
The enemy rolls his way down to the 15. Well, you're right. Pritchard can do it any number of ways. He scored 5 touchdowns catching the ball. He scored 4 touchdowns running the ball, and he's always a threat when he's running back kicks.
And he also blocked. That time he got into the middle of the cornerback, Roderick Green, and Green didn't particularly like it. All-around player.
His value growing and growing with each passing week. Should be a pretty high draft choice in the NFL next year. Well, Darian Hagan just did it. He broke the single-season record for passing yardage in one season. And here he is running the ball. Down to the 11. He'll be short of the first down. Darian Hagan, a junior out of California, a journalism major. Last week he set the record for touchdown passes in a game with 4 of them against Oklahoma State.
And he may have injured himself. It's Charles Johnson. CJ is going to come in the game. Darian, with his helmet off, trotted off the field and went right to the bench.
Charles Johnson into the ball game at quarterback for the Buffs. Another junior. He does the safe thing, gives to the enemy, and Eric takes it down to the 5. That is a first down. Buffs already with a 17-3 lead. Under 10 minutes to go in the half. There's a good look at Darian Hagan getting work done.
Looks like he may have got jabbed in the eye.
Everybody right now counting how many days till New Year's for any of these Buffs who might get injured to recover in time for that game against Notre Dame. That is Charles Johnson doing it himself. Charles Johnson, who just came into the ball game for an injured Darian Hagan, takes it in, and the oranges come splattering onto the field.
Last time we saw Charles Johnson score, there was a lot of conversation as to if he got in or not on 5th down, but easily that time, very patient on the option attack, cut it up just at the right moment and went in standing.
Public address announcer right now telling folks not to throw oranges onto the field. Charles Johnson's 2nd touchdown run of the year. The other one, as Dave told you, coming in that controversial game at Missouri. We've got a timeout on the field now while everybody starts picking up pieces of orange. It's a good thought, but it could pose some dangers to a lot of people down there. An orange being hurled from about 50 yards away could hurt if it hits you. Harper in for the extra point. And the Buffs take a 24-3 lead with 9:35 to go in the first half. We'll be right back at Folsom Field.
Whoa, Taco Bell done it again, my friend. Taco Bell done it again. They got 3 new menus, 3 low prices. Goodness gracious, now everything I like is $59.79.99. Even Taco Supreme, Nacho Supreme, 3 new menus. Somebody tell Louise. Wow, $59.79.99. Run for the border, don't waste time. 3 new menus, Taco Bell done it again. Wow.
Before you men go on this mission, I'm taking you to the best French restaurant in the city.
Somewhere, a small restaurant is missing a big sale.
It was busy.
But U.S. West Communications can keep your small business from missing those big sales.
How about pizza? Yeah!
Find out how to protect those orders from going to the competition. Call U.S. West, making the most of your time.
This is it.
There's only one light beer with big draft taste. Cold filtered, genuine draft light.
Yeah, we're gonna need some help up here, over.
There's your score. Buffs haven't done it a lot this year, but today they are off to a very fast start against Kansas State, 24-3. Harper kicking off, Coleman and Rawlings back to receiving. This is Coleman. Lets it bounce away. Harper not giving them much of a chance to do anything with the ball on kickoffs. So Kansas State will have it at its own 20.
Colorado offensively so far here in the first half, very, very impressive. They've scored in all 4 possessions. 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal. All the touchdowns by the quarterbacks. Charles Johnson even gets in the act here. Good job of allowing that play to really develop. 71 yards, 7 plays, a little over 3 minutes, and CU has a 24-3 lead.
Boy, nice to know you can rely on a backup like Charles Johnson if your #1 man gets hurt. He's really done a good job for the Buffs this year, especially with all of Hagen's injuries. Kansas State, meanwhile, has the ball. Using that unconventional method of calling plays.
It's waited too long to call it, I think.
The clock ran down.
Dead ball, delay of game, offense, 5 yards, repeat, first down.
See, the problem, Kansas State's taking too long in the huddle. Then once they come to the line of scrimmage, having to call the audibles. And again, the tight end has to hear it. He then turns and talks to the widest wide receiver. If they're going to do that, they got to get at the line of scrimmage and give themselves about 15 or 16 seconds. Good job this time because the clock now at 15 and counting.
Why bother calling a play in the huddle if you're changing it every time you walk up to the line of scrimmage? 1st and 15. Straw over the middle. Once again, the tight end, Campbell, wide open, gets away. Up across midfield. I think just about every Buff had a shot at him there before he finally is brought down at the CU 45-yard line.
But the tight end, again, has hurt Colorado this year. This time play action fake to Campbell's side. He'll come from the left side and just slide right up the seam. Straw with a good pass, and Campbell is like a big old buffalo trying to get him down. No pun intended. Nobody can tackle him until Beekert going for the football. Finally just grabs the football, and Campbell hangs on and goes to the ground. 40-yard gain.
Big kid, 245 pounds. That's why the 2 safeties bounced right off him. Tim James and Greg Thomas couldn't bring him down. A first down for Kansas State. This is Jackson. Gets a couple. Under the 9-minute mark in the first half.
Kansas State needs 240 yards passing here today to break their school record. They've averaged close to 240 per week. They've got some excellent receivers, and Straw so far has been able to hang in there. We told you earlier he's got a very sore right shoulder.
He's the 2nd most prolific passing quarterback in Kansas State history, behind only Lynn Dickey, who went on to have a very productive career for the Green Bay Packers. 2nd and 8. And a loss on the play there. Kenavis McGee in to stop Jackson for that loss. Let's go down to the field and Mark McIntosh.
Thanks, guys. A couple of plays ago, Russ Campbell had that big gain. He had one very similar last week against Oklahoma. Caught one over the middle, broke a few tackles, and was loose 30 yards behind everybody. It ended up being a 75-yard reception, but he got caught from behind by the Oklahoma defenders. Not a lot of speed, but he's a big, burly guy that can make the catch.
There's a kid, 245 pounds. He averages 17 yards per catch. This crowd really giving the business to Kansas State's offense right now. It's 3rd and 11. Straw puts it up for grabs. Incomplete. He found Michael Smith on the sideline, but Smith couldn't get his feet down, or at least 1 foot down, soon enough.
Well, good time by Carl Straw. You'll see all of a sudden in the middle of the screen, he gets pressured outside. Terry Johnson in his face. This is a good throw. Unfortunately, Smith not able to keep a foot in bounds. Jeff Bruner popped up and forced Straw to move to his right where Terry Johnson forced him to throw. And you can see very close as Smith can't get that left foot down in time. Flag on the play.
Michael Smith pleading his case. He felt he had a foot down in bounds.
Could be a legal man downfield. When it takes that long and your quarterback rolls, sometimes you get one of those offensive linemen down the field trying to knock somebody off their feet.
Well, Kansas State is bringing the punting unit onto the field.
Ineligible, downfield, against the offense, decline, 4th down.
4th down, Kansas State will punt. That's Chris Cobb. And Rico Smith back to receive. Smith did a great job last week in his only extensive outing as a punt returner. Nice kick, kind of a touch punt, if you will, by Cobb. The ball rolls out of bounds inside the Buffs' 10-yard line. It'll be placed at about the 8. Cobb took just enough off that kick. Made it work. Tonight on Channel 4, Catch the Beat. Broncos Beat with Peter Rogat and Jim Ryan. We'll bring you up to date on all the latest Bronco news and give you an inside preview of tomorrow's game against the Chicago Bears. That's Broncos Beat tonight at 6:30 right here on Channel 4, your Broncos station.
A few scores around the country. Maryland leading Virginia now in the 3rd quarter, 35-28. Georgia Tech 35, Wake Forest nothing. Syracuse 31, West Virginia 7.
Well, here's good news for Buffs fans. Darian Hagan back in the ball game at quarterback for CU. Got poked in the eye a couple of series back. Now he's back there, taking the snap and giving it to Bieniemy. And Bieniemy rides a couple of defenders up across the 15-yard line. Call it a gain of 7. 7 minutes, 15 seconds to go in this first half. Buffs with a 24-3 lead.
1985, Colorado went to the wishbone. A lot of people said that was not the thing to do. Since that time, they are 48-21-1.
Warning against the black team.
They've been able to control the football. They've been able to certainly regain their competitive edge, which back in the early 80s they did not have. And they've been able also to recruit players to that kind of offense. Good running backs, very good, nimble, quick quarterbacks. You see Bill McCartney urging these guys to get back. He's saying, well, how far do we have to get back here? And back is about as far as I'm going to go. Of course, Bill, you can't win that one. Coaches never like to be told to get back. They usually turn around and tell an assistant coach to get those guys back. Assistant coaches yell at the players. Players don't have anybody yelling.
Worked so good, they did it on
I think they call that passing the buck.
Yeah.
All right, it'll be 2nd and 4 for the Buffs from their own 15-yard line. 2 wide receivers in the game. But the give goes to Eric Bieniemy, and he's up to the 19-yard line. He's very close to the 1st down.
Shut up.
There's somewhat of a new wrinkle, a play that CU has not run many times this year. Garton pulling on the trap. They're not a big trap team. They're usually just a straight-ahead man-on-man blocking team, but every little wrinkle now in the season presents problems for Notre Dame because they have to certainly go back and look at all these films and try to get prepared for this team defensively.
And the Buffs once again with a 2 wide receiver set, Rico Smith and Mike Pritchard. On 1st down, Hagan over the middle, a nice catch by Hemingway. Up to the 48-yard line. George Hemingway, his 14th catch of the year. Danny Needham wrestles him to the ground.
Well, Hemingway, who used to play tight end in this offense, really helps them from the backfield up the seam on the left side. You see him beat the linebacker, and then he's rumbling for the 1st down. Good job by George Hemingway. as he avoided the contact by the linebacker Viach, and then once he's into the secondary, lots of open room.
George is a much better ball player since he's settled down off the field. Doing a great job for them this year. First and 10 from the 49. Bieniemy, nothing outside and not much inside either. Hits it across midfield, gain of 3 yards. We're under 6 minutes in the half. Eric Bieniemy averages almost 6 yards a carry. Leads the nation with 1,513 yards on the ground this year. And that's after missing the opening game, the Pigskin Classic against Tennessee. 2nd and 7. Hagan with a gorgeous fake, looking deep, has Pritchard. Touchdown, Mike Pritchard.
Boy, this is just a great throw by Darian Hagan. The thing that made this route possible, he waits and waits and waits for Pritchard to clear that free safety. Watch how long he holds this football. Pritchard running all the way across the field, now is open because he ran past the free safety. Needham dives, he can't get there, and a 48-yard touchdown catch by Mike Pritchard. What a great job by Darian Hagan holding the football until Pritchard had passed that free safety.
And there was nobody rushing Hagan because they thought he had already given it off to a running back. He did a great job hiding that ball behind his thigh. Harper the extra point, and the Buffs with a very cozy 31-3 lead with 5:29 to go in the first half.
Yeah, I'll get the scoop. Here they come now.
Hold on to your hats, boys, and I'll tell you all about it. Your Colorado GMC truck dealers are having the biggest, easiest truck sale ever. Cool your heels, boys, and take a look. Roll it, Billy. A special allocation of new 4-door S15 Jimmys.
Any discounts from the dealers?
You kidding? That and $1,000 cash back.
Sounds too good to last. When's the gig up?
Soon, real soon, so you better step on it. Get discounts, cash back, low interest rates. It's the big easy sale at your local Colorado GMC truck dealer.
Whoa, Taco Bell done it again, my friend. Taco Bell done it again. They got free new menus, free low prices. Goodness gracious, now everything I like is $59.79.99. Even Taco Supreme, Nacho Supreme, 3 new menus. Somebody tell Louise. Wow, $59.79.99. Run for the border, don't waste time. 3 new menus, Taco Bell done it again. Wow.
This commercial does not contain any basketball stars, movie stars, rock stars, or baseball stars. In fact, the only stars in this commercial are these shoes.
It's time to turn on the lights. I'm Ed Green, and News 4 invites you to celebrate this 50-year-old tradition. Be here or watch it live on the Colorado Evening News, Thursday, November 29th at 6:30. Plug in to downtown Denver.
Jamie Mendez in the middle of your screen, number 32, is a freshman from Youngstown. Mike Pritchard on the right side is going to run right down the middle. Now, Mendez doesn't get enough depth. He's sitting right there. All of a sudden, he realizes I'm in trouble as Pritchard runs all the way across the field and runs away from the cornerback, Needham, who expects Mendez, right there, number 32, to be deep enough to help him. Just a freshman mistake by the Kansas State Wildcats. 5 plays and 92 yards, and it took him less than a couple of minutes.
Harper kicking off. Andre Coleman decides to run the ball out. Not the smart thing to do. He should have gone down. Instead, he's racked up at the 8-yard line. Roger Yago.
Boy, Hagan did a great job here. He waits for Pritchard, sees him cross that free safety, lets it go. Tight spiral, and that baby is on the money. Darian Hagan threw for over 200 yards last week. He's going to be approaching that figure this week if they continue to throw a little bit.
Roger Yago from Littleton, Colorado made the tackle on that kickoff return. Boy, when you can't make a decision, the best thing to do is put that knee down in the end zone. Instead, Kansas State has a 1st and 10. They're starting with it from their own 9-yard line. And Kansas State a little mixed up as to which personnel should be in the ball game right now.
Yeah, they only had 10 guys on the field. Not a very comforting thought for a quarterback who's trying to stay alive.
Russ Campbell, the tight end, was supposed to be in on that play, but only came running in after Kansas State had already lined up to take the snap. Well, we mentioned earlier, Darian Hagan already today has set the single-season record for CU for passing yards. He is 1 touchdown pass away from tying Steve Vogel in the Buffs record book for touchdown passes in one season. The record is 12. Hagan has 11. Let's go down to Mark McIntosh.
Thanks, guys. 31-3, but don't think the Buffs are going to sit on it. Bill McCartney just came over to Gary Barnett and said, let's get one more score before halftime. Use those timeouts if you have to, but I want to put one more touchdown or a field goal on the board before we go in for halftime. Back upstairs.
Gary Barnett, Mark is referring to, the quarterback and fullback coach for the Buffs.
We said Hagan 237 last week passing. He is 6 of 9 here in the first half for 176 yards and 1 touchdown. Not a bad first half performance.
Best performance of his career came last week, 237 yards passing. That pass by Straw is blocked.
Oh. And Straw tried to block Alfred Williams after he threw it. Except quarterbacks don't do a very good job blocking. You can see him with that injured right arm. Man, Carl Straw took a shot by Alfred Williams right when he tried to release the ball. That's when the quarterback is most vulnerable. When that arm is up in the air, he'll be able to see Williams, which is to his benefit. But Alfred comes from the left side, and right when that pass is delivered, ooh, he gets crunched.
That's 6'6", 240-pound Alfred Williams falling on Straw. Straw came in with a badly bruised right shoulder. Let's see if he can throw the ball after that hit. 2nd and 10. Gets off a zinger to Michael Smith, but it's incomplete. Looks like he's okay.
Well, what happens after that last hit? You've got Carl Straw trying to throw the ball backpedaling. You get a little bit antsy and you get gun shy when you stand in there and you really get it handed to you. Now, that time Straw tries to hit the crossing route, but he's doing so while he's moving backwards. Then he gets frustrated. Hurry up with the play. I mean, things just don't go right when you're not having time to throw the ball.
Third and 10 for KSU. .5:18 to go in the first half. Fumble in the end zone. Straw better go down. It's fumbled again. Kansas State falls on it, but CU will get 2 points out of it because it's a safety.
Well, we said after he was sacked, it really shakes up the confidence of a quarterback. Kansas State didn't get a line properly and really starting to lose what composure they've had in the first half. Straw loses the football, then he kicks it into the end zone. And at this point, really, they're lucky they don't give up 7 points instead of 2. Straw picks it up, tries to throw it. The arm isn't going forward as Gary Howe gets to him. Ball is loose, recovered by the Wildcats, but that's going to be 2 points for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Boy, as the song says, when you hot, and when you not, you not.
CU cheerleaders do push-ups for every point scored. They're going to be arm-weary today.
Carl Straw very angry with himself, with his teammates right now. Nothing is going right for the Wildcats. They're down 33-3, and now they have to kick off to the Buffs again.
I'll tell you what, you start banging that quarterback, you start getting in his face and knocking him down. I don't care who he is or how good the passing attack is. When you shake that quarterback up, it starts to go downhill quickly.
Chris Cobb is in the game for Kansas State. They get a free kick, and Kansas State has chosen to punt the ball after the safety. Dave McClellan is back to receive the punt. 5:11 to go in the first half. I think everybody, including the people on the CU sideline, have to be a little surprised at what's transpired today. Kansas State came in here having turned around its reputation as the Wildcats. Yet here we are, CU holding a 30-point lead, and the first half is far from over. McClellan back at the 15. Does a good job cutting back across the 40. We have a number of flags on the field. There will be a penalty. Crowd awfully quiet. The crowd can be taken out of the game in two ways. Number one, if your team is losing by a lot. Number two, if your team is winning by a lot. And right now, their team is
during
winning.
the return. Spot foul, 15 yards, first down for the receiving team.
Well, they're seeing Colorado, the best team in the Big 8 Conference, if not the country, play up to their ability. And if they do that, even Bill Snyder would readily admit that Kansas State does not have a chance to stay in the game. If you're a Wildcat supporter, you've got to hope that Colorado overlooks you a bit. Maybe they don't come in emotionally prepared, but this has been about as sharp as CU has been in any first half of this year.
Absolutely. Possibly in any game this year. They did a real number on Kansas. And the Buffs did it again last week, beating Oklahoma State 41-22. Those have been their only two blowouts of the year so far. Flag on the field as Bieniemy gets it up to the 25. Well, after this ball game, it looks like CU will win the Big 8 title outright. They will go into the locker room and get that invitation, the official invitation to the Orange Bowl.
Line judge with the call, and usually when he makes the holding call, it's the outside guy on the line of scrimmage. In that case, Mark Vanderpool, because there was not a tight end.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
With the way things have gone here in the first half, all that will do is give CU a better chance to accumulate more yards because it moves them closer, or actually farther away from the end zone.
First and 20 for the Buffs from their own 12. Over the middle, intended for Pritchard, incomplete. Dave, is it possible, because the Buffs are winning so handily right here, they might be getting a little sloppy?
Well, it's tough to keep your concentration in a game like this. You're 30 points ahead, and you still have almost 5 minutes to go in the first half. This is the last game of the year. You're assured of playing for the national championship. So your mind starts to wander. You start thinking about other things rather than what you should be on the field.
Buffs still have the starting unit in the ballgame on offense.
What do you think those people are thinking about?
The starting unit?
No, the fans. How am I going to get to Miami?
Where do I get my tickets? What's the phone number? Second and 20. Once again, Bieniemy. A host of white jerseys. Stack them up at about the 11. It will be third and long for the Buffs. How are you getting to Miami?
I hope I'm flying. I'm not exactly sure. If need be, Greyhound goes everywhere.
Greyhound has some good deals going right now.
Absolutely.
Third and 19 for CU from their own 13-yard line. 4:10 to go in the half. Over the middle. This is Bieniemy. Well, we don't see Eric in a pass-catching role too much, but he does a good job there. And he picks up the first down.
And again, a good job by the offensive line affording Hagan protection. Watch this. No white shirts are near Darian Hagan. Slides to his left a little bit. Bieniemy, the safety valve. And, you know, Eric Bieniemy's caught only one touchdown pass in his career. He's got decent hands. He's going to be called upon next year in the NFL to catch the ball more frequently, but did a nice job there hanging on to the football. You can see only 12 catches this year.
That was his 13th. Buffs have a first down. Bieniemy will run it. Nice move inside up to the 49-yard line. Another first down.
Well, Bieniemy, we talked about, has not caught many passes, but he certainly made a lot of folks miss him during his career. If you counted how many missed tackles Eric Bieniemy has caused in 4 years, you'd be amazed. Watch Danny Needham from the free safety. Whoop. That's a tackle you're supposed to make. Needham is unblocked as he sprints to the perimeter, but all he can get is a hand on Eric Bieniemy.
You can see him saying, which way did he go? First and 10. From the 49, the enemy breaks through again. And he has another first down. Mark McIntosh, what do you have down there?
Well, you guys have been talking about how well the Buffs are playing in the first half. A good indication of how well they're playing. You might be able to see Tom Maroon. He's looking up in the stands. He's bored stiff. He's the Buffs All-American punter. He hadn't broken a sweat all day. They have yet to punt in the first half. Back upstairs.
Somebody get that man some reading material. First and 10 for the Buffs from the Kansas State 40. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. They're working the enemy hard. He gets it inside the 35. Call it a gain of 7. Mendez makes the tackle.
Upset with himself a little bit because he had one Wildcat between himself and the goal line, but everybody having a good time out there. You can see a very loose atmosphere when you're 30 points ahead. Why not? Got 91 yards in the first half on 17 carries. As Les said, he's only been under 100 yards one time this year. He had 99 in Austin, Texas.
2nd and 3 for the Buffs from the 33. Hagan throws it behind Pritchard, incomplete. A 30-point lead, and they're still throwing the ball.
Somebody lost his helmet. I think Joe Garden, trying to pass block for Darian Hagan, was doing so without a hat. They always say offensive linemen are the toughest, and that's definitely true.
Somebody just gave him the helmet back, and he raised it up to the crowd for the cheers, and they responded.
Wow.
Joe Garden, candidate for the Outland Trophy, which goes to the best lineman in the country every year.
Candidate for the toughest guy in the afternoon here, playing without a helmet on.
Well, Joe will be the first to tell you he's got a hard head. 3rd and 3 from the 33. Well, take your pick. Offsides or illegal procedure?
It's illegal procedure. Brian Campbell jumped. It's going to cost CU 5 yards.
Dead ball, false start, flag, 5 yards, repeat, 3rd down.
You can see Campbell, who has stepped in as Russ Heasley was injured earlier this year. He's done a great job at the right guard position, but reacting to movement up front. If nothing else went right, he stepped properly with his left leg.
Nice to know when a guy like Heasley bruises his shoulder, you have a young man like Brian Campbell who can step in. He's done a great job. Hagan bounces that pass to Mike Pritchard. Normally you get 75 points for that in a game of softball, but since we're not playing softball, they call it incomplete.
That's the first one I've seen him today really aim the football. Instead of just rearing back and letting it go, this thing about 3 yards short. Pritchard's got such good hands to play a little short stuff there, huh?
4th down for the Buffs. No, they're not going to punt. They're going to go for the field goal, and this will be a 55-yard attempt for Jim Harper. If he hits it, it's his longest field goal of the year.
He's got plenty enough leg if he hits it good.
He has hit a 54-yarder this year. It's blocked, and it'll roll into the end zone. Harper may be looking for that distance, didn't get the ball up high enough. Jamie Mendez blocked it.
As you mentioned, Les, when you have to get that type distance, you really have to drive the football. You don't get the elevation that you normally get, and that's great penetration. I'll tell you what, the offensive line, the front, didn't give Harper much of a chance to drive that ball. You can see lots of white jerseys only 4 yards away from the kicker.
So Kansas State will take over at its own 38-yard line. 1:55 left in the half. The Buffs with a 33-3 lead. Carl Straw still in the ball game for K-State.
Getting the signal for the play, the formation. Now he calls the plays to the wide receivers.
2 seconds left. And they will get nailed for another delay of game penalty.
May have got the timeout before, but it's going to cost him a timeout. See, the coach is not giving him the formation quick enough. I was watching. You see the coach right there giving the signals, and he gave them with about 9 seconds to go. Well, there's not enough time to call the play to the wide receivers.
You know, they don't get too upset there on the sideline. You see one of the coaches there. I would assume that when you try to do it this way, you're going to draw a few delay of game penalties. They've drawn 2 this afternoon. Right now, K-State with a timeout. Hey, sign on with Channel 4 this season to help the Mercy Medical Center continue caring for Denver's needy. During the NFL regular season, your pledge for every quarterback sacked by the Broncos will go directly to Mercy. Pick up a pledge form at any King's Supers, Gart Brothers, or Dave Cook, and help sack them for Mercy's sake. Well, we mentioned all of the Buffs' offensive starters have been in the whole first half, despite the score. Same with the defensive unit. All the starters in there. First and 10 for K-State from its own 38. A good rush. They set up the screen to Jackson, and he gets it up to the 45. The rush came from Leonard Renfro and Brian Diet.
What a good job by Renfro of chasing that play down. You can see Jackson's got some room. That's Diet, Brian Diet. Brian Diet chasing Jackson down from behind.
Diet, the young man from right here at Pomona High School here in Colorado. They gained 7 on that play, so it's 2nd and 3. Straw again to the tight end, this time broken up by Dion Figures.
This is a pretty well-designed play, but nobody in the flat to hold Figures. Figures at corner, playing the flat. Nobody's out there, so he drops back into the secondary, and Carl Straw again is really paying for some of the throws that he makes. You want to play quarterback in the Big 8 Conference, you're going to get hit as Alfred Williams gets him from the right side.
And Straw came up limping. 3rd and 3 for K-State. Boy, Straw is a wreck. Came in with a bruised right shoulder. Now he's limping. In a hurry. 3 seconds left on the clock. Canavis McGee and Alfred Williams, the 2 bookend All-American linebackers, nail Straw. And the Wildcats will have to punt under the 1-minute mark in the half.
Carl Straw's a pretty good quarterback, but he's much better when somebody blocks for him up front. And Williams and McGee just met about 10 yards behind the center, and Carl Straw was standing there waiting for him.
Boy, how would you like to see those 2 coming at you? Canavis McGee, a 2nd-team All-American. Alfred Williams, 1st-team All-American. CU's all-time leader in sacks. He's got 12.5 sacks this year. Cobb gets the kickoff. Rico Smith fields it at the 25. Spins away and down at the 27. A 41-yard punt.
Well, Carl Straw, as we're talking about, he really never has a chance to set on that right foot. When he does, right there, there's Canavis, and here comes Alfred, and gosh, they almost try to tear his head off. Straw was not very happy once he got up, and you can understand as to why. You got to give him a chance to throw the ball, and that time, no opportunity at all.
Alfred Williams, last year's Big 8 Defensive Player of the Year, and Dave, I would imagine he's the leading candidate for that this year.
Yep, all-time sack leader coming into today at 35.5. He's got a couple today.
Buffs on a reverse. This is Pritchard. It's worked so well all year. It's working well again. He could go all the way. Mike Pritchard. He does. Another touchdown for Pritchard, his 2nd of the day. With 6 seconds to go in the half, the Buffs strike again.
2 things make this work. Watch Darian Hagan as he's being drugged down, enough strength to get off the football. Simpson had him, the 315-pound nose guard, and watch Mike Pritchard, how easily he strides and how he sets up the blockers. Good job of not blocking there by Sean Brown on the clip, and Pritchard, look at the strides of this kid. Folks, he's running away from folks. 70 yards on the play, and CU over the 40-point mark in the first half.
Boy, great awareness, too. He's in full stride, and he's eyeing all segments of the field, sees where to go, how to follow his blocking. Pritchard is something else. Jim Harper, the extra point. This will be the Buffs' 40th point of the afternoon, and he's got it. And with 6 seconds to go in the first half, the Buffs go up 40-3.
Mike Pritchard is just effortless the way he runs it. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere, and all of a sudden, he's leaving you. He's got great speed, and it's deceptive speed because, again, his upper body rarely moves, and he's picking up big chunks of yardage.
There's a happy Buffs fan, and that's why 40-3, the Buffs. They'll win that Big 8 title outright.
Colorado scoring drive, 70 yards and 1 play. More push-ups, fellas. You guys are going to be in great shape by the time this game's over. Mike Pritchard, 70 yards on the ground. Of course, he had 217 yards rushing against Tennessee in the opener. He can play tailback, he can play wing back, wide receiver. He could probably play defensive back if they needed him.
Bill Snyder in the white sweater and the glasses, the head coach of Kansas State, wondering what the heck he has to do to get his team in the end zone and stop the Buffs on the other side. Let's go down to the field to Mark McIntosh.
Thanks, guys. You know, normally offensive coordinator Jerry DiNardo calls all the Buff plays from up in the press box, but this play, that reverse to Pritchard, that was Bill McCartney's call down here on the sideline. I guess he wanted to get Pritchard the ball one more time before halftime, and boy, did number 9 take advantage of it. Back upstairs.
Not a bad call.
No. Mac was the defensive coordinator for Bo Schembechler at Michigan. Now maybe he's got a future as an offensive coordinator. Harper with a squib kick. And for Kansas State, that's Don Hilliard returning it up across the 40. 2 seconds to go in the half. Let's see if Kansas State tries to go deep with the Hail Mary or if they just put the knee down and call it a half. Awfully quiet here at Folsom Field, and you can understand why. This game about in the bag for the Buffs. Straw will throw it. That's to Michael Smith, and he is just whammoed by Eric Hamilton, and that's the end of the first half. The Buffs with a 37-point lead, and now the fans come alive. They know they might not see those 24 seniors again for the rest of the year until the Orange Bowl down in Miami. A dejected Kansas State team running off the field. A program on the rebound, or so they thought. Yet the Buffs are teaching them a lesson today. Bill McCartney walking into the locker room with one of his offensive assistants, Gary Barnett. And there's your halftime score. Darian Hagan ran in a couple of touchdowns this half, threw for another. Mike Pritchard scored a couple times. Just about everybody's had a hand in what's gone on here this first half in a Buffs rout. I guess when it's the last time you play in front of the home crowd, Dave, you want to let everybody get a few applause.
Well, you want to go out with a bang, and they're off to a pretty good start in that respect. 40 points in the first half, and Colorado certainly, I think, the best half of football they've played this year, and you take into consideration the opponent they're playing, but Bill McCartney's got to be thrilled.
All right, we'll take a halftime break and come right back to you from Folsom Field. Charging out, and we're going down to the field to Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thank you, Les. Here with Coach McCartney. A darn good first half of football.
Well, we had a lot of big plays in the first half, and we got big play guys, and I'm surprised it opened up as quickly as it did. I thought it might open up, but not that soon.
Are we talking Aaron McCartney here? Hagan had like 175 yards passing in the first half.
Well, he's probably not going to get to throw much in the second half, so we needed to work on it, and he did a good job.
How much will we see the starters in the second half?
What we'd like to do here is the first time that when we kick off, we'll have our first defense. And we'd like to get the ball back, and then we'd like to give Bieniemy a chance to get a few yards and then get those guys out of there and let everybody else play.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Okay.
Coach Bill McCartney kind of plotting out his strategy for the second half. Look for Bieniemy to carry the ball a lot early, and then them starters probably get the heck out of there. Back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Mark. Well, Dave, it sounds like Bill McCartney wants to let those starters onto the field and then bring them off to an ovation.
Yeah, and Bieniemy had 93 yards at halftime. You certainly want him to go over the 100-yard mark, which he has failed to do only one time this year.
Eric Bieniemy looking for the national rushing title. The man closest to him is Darren Lewis of Texas A&M, and I believe Lewis and A&M have 2 more games left to add to that rushing total. Well, to start off the second half, CU will kick it off to Kansas State.
A couple of Big 8 scores for you. Oklahoma State leading Iowa State 19-10. That's in the third quarter of Missouri. 24, Kansas 7, also in quarter number 3.
Nebraska and Oklahoma taking the day off. They will butt heads later this week in their regular season finale. Jim Harper has the kicking chore for CU. Back to receive for K-State. It'll be Rawlings and Coleman, as it has been all afternoon. Once again, the Buffs with a 40-3 lead as we start the second half. Most of the fans are sticking around. I would assume they still have some oranges in their pouch that they want to throw. Second half, some of the CU second and third stringers should get a chance at some work. And it won't be foreign to them. They had a shot at working up a sweat last week. The Buffs easily handling Oklahoma State 41-22. Buffs haven't had as many blowouts as last year, not scoring as many points, but what counts is the record. And with a win today, the Buffs will go to 10-1-1. That's Coleman up across the 20, down at the 25, and a flag on the field. Andre Coleman, a freshman. And the way he reacted, looks like the penalty will be against Kansas State. Rich Fisher will be called for clipping.
Clip on the return on the receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down and 10.
All right, go Buffs, get up, come on, we're going to be filtered on this time. Yowza.
So Kansas State will start on offense at their own 12-yard line. Carl Straw, as you see, still in the ballgame for K-State, despite a bruised right shoulder and a mauling from the Buffs in the first half. Pat Jackson tries to turn the corner, dragged down by Biekert. Well, you don't hear a lot about Biekert, mainly because he's on the same linebacking unit with 2 All-Americans, Alfred Williams and Kanavis McGee, but Biekert leads the nation in tackles. He is averaging 13 tackles a game. He has 145 tackles on the year coming into today. And he has a lot more playing time to come at CU. He is only a sophomore. 2nd and 9 for Kansas State. K-State with 3 receivers lined up wide left. Straw pitches right, however. Jackson run out of bounds. He gets nowhere. Mark McIntosh has a tidbit for us. Mark?
Thanks, Les. You were talking about Carl Straw earlier. He's got that sore right shoulder, but I just happened to catch the Bill Schneider show about 2 weeks ago. and he was talking about Carl Straw was the toughest quarterback he has ever coached. So it's not surprising that Carl Straw, the last half of his senior year, injuries aren't going to slow that guy down. He's going to finish out his career and try to rack up a few more stats. Back upstairs.
He is a senior. This will be his last game in a Kansas State uniform. I would imagine he'd get a look by some NFL teams, not necessarily as a draft pick, but certainly as a free agent. He does have a very strong arm and a relatively accurate arm. That was Joel Steed. Joel Steed knocked that pass attempt into the air, and Alfred Williams almost caught that ball.
Kanavis McGee actually had a better chance for it. And talking about Carl Straw and how tough he is, he also backpedals pretty well, because as he's going back, he's got a man right in his face, Joel Steed. The ball knocked in the air, and Kanavis almost gets the interception. Watch how quickly Joel Steed, he never touched. The ball knocked in the air. Kanavis almost comes up with a diving interception in the end zone.
Kansas State back to punt. Cobb from his own end zone. And Dave McCluen will field the nice high kick. McCluen calling for a fair catch. Makes a nice catch. The Buffs will start with it at their own 47. You might have just heard a cheer come up from the crowd about 30 seconds ago, and that is because Bill McCartney did what he said he would do. He brought the starting defensive unit off the field. Probably the last time those seniors, at least, will play in front of the home crowd.
And maybe the last time we'll see Eric Bieniemy, George Hemingway, Mike Pritchard, and crew, as Bill McCartney said he'll give this team at least one more chance early in the third quarter to get Bieniemy some yards.
The first team offense still in the ball game. Hagan gives to Bieniemy. And Eric gets it down to the 48-yard line of K-State. Call it a gain of 4 before Enan Okun brings him down.
We said earlier Jay Lewinberg was out with a sprained ankle. He is taped up and back in the lineup. Of course, offensive linemen are just tough-natured guys usually. They're down in the trenches, and it takes a lot to keep those guys out of the lineup.
Eric Bieniemy, close to a milestone, 4,000 yards in his career here at CU. He needs 79 yards to do it. He gets a few more right there, inside the 45-yard line, down to the 42. It's nice of Coach McCartney to get Eric Bieniemy as many yards as possible, but the one thing you have to worry about is an injury to Eric. With the Orange Bowl still to come, Eric does have some padding on his back for those bruised ribs, but he seems to be doing okay. There's a good look at Eric on 3rd and 1. Michael Simmons in motion. Eric will do it, picks up the first down and more. Cuts back inside the 30-yard line. William Price wrestles him down. A little scuffle on the field. Joe Garton sticking up for his little running back, Bieniemy.
Well, again, the 3 plays here in the third quarter have all been the ISO lead, and Bieniemy into the secondary. Good block by Brown and Simmons. Price kind of body slams Bieniemy here, and Eric didn't much like that. Got up and exchanged a few shoves, and will line up to start again at first down.
1st and 10 from the 30. Hagan still at quarterback. And Bieniemy on the draw. Down to the 26. Gain of 4.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, as Bill McCartney said, we want to get Eric a few more yards if he carries every down on this drive. So far, that's his 4th consecutive carry. And Kansas State's blitzing just about on every play, so they've got the opportunity to really blow up that ISO lead. It takes a while to develop.
Well, running the ball also serves another purpose for CU. I would believe Bill McCartney has a lot of respect for Bill Snyder on the other sideline, and this is a good way of allowing the clock to tick down before this turns into any more of an embarrassment. CU leading 40-3. 11:45 to go in the third quarter. That time the blitz worked, and Bieniemy is piled up back at the 32, a loss of 6. Enan Okun makes the tackle.
Enan Okun's made a couple of tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and you mentioned the Wildcats. They are coming on every play here in the third quarter. Tough to run that ISO because you just have too many bodies to account for. Not enough guys to block.
3rd and 11 for K-State. for John Bowman, his tight end. They can hit a lot of pressure on him. From number 89, Elijah Alexander. Very quick young man, their right defensive end. Well, we haven't seen a lot of Bowman the second half of the season. He's been fighting a foot sprain. Lost his starting job to Sean Brown in the process. Bowman from Las Vegas, 6'3", 245-pound junior. And Bluto is in the game now, attempting a field goal for CU. With the bare foot, it's up, and he's got it. From 47 yards out, Pat Bluto with the field goal. And the Buffs go up 43-3.
On Wall Street, fortunes are won and lost and won again before 10:30. Amid the halls of ivy, the best ideas often come and go before 10:30. And on the back lots of Hollywood, love often blooms and fades before 10:30. Which is why Federal Express delivers before 10:30 at more places around the country than anyone else. Federal Express, absolutely, positively the best in the business.
In 1982, I bought a Toyota 4x4, and 8 years later, I got over $3,100 back for it. That means I own that truck for about $100 a month.
The cost of owning a new Toyota 4Runner or Previa has dropped even more, thanks to the great deals your Toyota dealer's making right now. Just in time for winter, save plenty on a rugged new 4Runner or spacious Previa van, both available with 4-wheel drive. Deals this good mean the cars that cost less to own now cost even less to buy. Drop by your Toyota dealer now, while the cost of owning a new Toyota is dropping.
Channel 4 invites you to join the good times at Walt Disney's World on Ice. Mickey and Minnie will be there with Donald and Daisy, the Rescue Rangers, and a magical flight with Peter Pan, December 4th through 9th at McNichols Sports Arena. Join the fun with Channel 4 on opening night, Tuesday, December 4th at 7:30 p.m. when all tickets are $3 off. Channel 4 Rocky Mountain News opening night discount tickets are on sale at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Walt Disney's World on Ice. It's where the fun is.
Les Shapiro and Dave Logan back at Folsom Field. Buffs just kicked the field goal. It was Pat Bluto in the ballgame now. Sophomore from Anaheim, California. He's going to give Jim Harper the rest of the afternoon off. Bluto battled it out in training camp with Harper for the place kicking job. Bluto with that bare foot goes 2 yards deep to Andre Coleman. Goes up the middle to the 18-yard line. A return of about 20 yards for Coleman.
We've seen a lot of this today. Scoring drives by Colorado. 6 plays, 22 yards, less than 3 minutes. And Pat Bluto with the 48-yard field goal. Kind of nice to see because he really hasn't had much of a chance to kick in games this year, but he came on and hit a long field goal.
A lot of reserves in the ball game for CU now on defense. Kansas State still has its starting offensive unit. Straw, nice touch pass to the tight end Campbell. Up to the 39-yard line, and he is just whacked by Tate Nelson.
Yeah, Tate, I think, took the worst of that. Campbell, maybe not, has injured his left arm. Big tight end has been active here this afternoon, and he has been very tough to bring down. The crossing route, play action fake, and Straw gets him. Campbell will come from the left side of the screen. He gets enough depth to get behind the linebacker. Nice touch pass. And Tate Nelson will come from the top of the screen, and helmet to helmet, they strike. He actually knocked Nelson back a couple of yards, but Campbell was yet to get up. That's his 4th catch of the day.
I'm impressed by Campbell. A huge young man, 6'5", 245 pounds. Last catch was for 21 yards. You know, he doesn't have great speed, but he has the knack for finding the open seam, and Straw's getting him the ball.
He also has a knack for running. When you're that big, I guess it's easier. Maybe just a stinger on the shoulder.
Good look at the senior, Joe Garton, the All-American offensive lineman for the Buffs. You realize he's given up just 1 sack all year, and he's only been penalized once all year. That's amazing. 1st and 10 for K-State from its own 39. Straw with a wild pitch intended for Jackson. He picks up the fumble and runs it out of bounds at the 33. Loss of about 6.
Well, there have been some fortuitous bounces here this afternoon. That time Straw with the errant pitch, and Jackson gets the one hopper and is able to regain control and get out of bounds. This is when you know, as you're the pitch guy, it's a terrible feeling to see this. Your quarterback pitched the ball about 6 yards behind you, and you know there are a lot of folks in black jerseys that are hurrying to greet you. Jackson does a nice job just getting out of bounds.
Looked like a jump ball. Thrown up for the fullback and for the halfback. 2nd and 15 in their own 34. 10.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Grabbed by number 91, Lamar Gray, in the ballgame now at linebacker for the Buffs. And that will be a sack.
I think they called an incomplete pass. That's the big difference between college football and pro football. There is no in the grasp, and what a good job by Lamar Gray, not only getting to the quarterback, but watching the left side of the screen. He keeps Straw inside. Watch 91 fight upfield, past a couple of blockers. Jackson tries to get him. He's still outside rush contained. He forces Straw to stop and then gets to him right there. That would be in the grasp in the National Football League, but in college football, no such rule.
Well, I think it should have been there also, and I thought I saw the back judge throw his arm up and thought I heard him blow the whistle. I stand corrected. It'll be 3rd and 15 still for K-State. Intercepted by David Gibbs. Knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Boy, Gibbs has not gotten a lot of playing time, but he certainly has made that little time worthwhile.
Gibbs, a senior, and a nice way to end his career here with an interception. Did a good job of funneling that receiver to the outside. If you don't do that on this particular play, it could be a big gainer, but Gibbs got the jam, ran with the receiver, and actually was the only player close to the ball thrown by Carl Straw.
David Gibbs, a senior out of Alabama. He had an interception last week against Oklahoma State. He also spoiled a fake punt by Oklahoma State last week, and he had that big stoppage of the Nebraska fake punt that turned the game around for the Buffs a couple weeks ago up in Lincoln. 1st and 10 for the Buffs. Chucky Snowden in the ball game at halfback now. Down to the 31-yard line. Gain of 4 yards there. Second and 6 for the Buffs. Charles Johnson at quarterback. That's James Hill, the young man from Wyfield High School. Gains a yard.
Ian Oakett has been pretty active today for Kansas State, and they've taken a lot of chances. They've had to do that, much the same as Oklahoma State tried to do last week. If you don't do that, CU runs the ball down your throat. If you do that, you make some big plays, but you also really run the risk of giving up some big plays before you're done, and they have.
3rd and 5. Johnson back to pass. He is brought down quickly by Ian Oakett. Been very active here in the second half.
Well, this thing looked like a jailbreak. Charles Johnson, he's back to 3 steps. Look at this. Yikes. Everybody coming. Simpson doing a good job holding up in the middle. Kansas State wins that battle.
CJ never got a chance to set. Tom Ruin in the ballgame to punt for the Buffs. 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And Michael Smith will receive the punt for K-State. Ruin gets a little too much. That ball bounds into the end zone. So K-State will have it at its own 20-yard line. As the Buffs bring in the second and third team, we'll try and name the players for you, but right now we'll take a break.
Come winter, you see most sports cars at their worst, if you see them at all. Unless your sports car is an all-wheel drive Eagle Talon TSI with 195 horses to keep you dashing through the snow. To go anywhere, anytime, Talon TSI. Reasons to own one keep piling up. Now save on a special allotment of Talons at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
See your local Jeep Eagle dealer.
Samsonite's Adventure Series luggage is perfect for those active vacations. It's sporty, easy to carry, and like every Samsonite, quite durable. The Adventure Series, for all you can pack into a vacation.
Around 15,000 miles, your car can start to lose acceleration because regular unleaded gasoline may not be enough. Now's the time to turn to silver. Higher octane Eneco Silver can bring back the power. And remember, when you drive, make every gallon count.
Darian Hagan out of his shoulder pads. No helmet. He's done for the afternoon, and a pretty good afternoon it was. Ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for another. Right now, Kansas State with the ball, 1st and 10 from its own 20. And the new quarterback is number 19, Jason Smargesso. He's a redshirt freshman out of Pennsylvania. 6'2", 195 pounds. Tried to run with the ball there, no gain. Into the ball game for CU on defense. Paul Rose at linebacker now, just made the tackle. Ronnie Bradford in at 1 cornerback. Tate Nelson in at safety. David Gibbs in the ball game. He had an interception the last Kansas State series. 2nd and 10 for K-State. The one running back for them is Rod Schiller. Smargesso runs it again. This time does a little better, about 7 yards.
Well, I'd love to tell you we've seen this kid play. He really could give you a rundown, but we haven't. Looks like he really wants to run the ball before he throws the ball, or would rather run it. Got pretty good speed, quickness.
Not a whole lot to say statistically. He hasn't completed a pass all year. He's run the ball just 6 times and gone for -3 yards.
Well, no wonder we haven't seen it.
You don't see him on many Kansas State highlight reels right now. 3rd and 3 for the Wildcats. Smargesso runs it. This time he gets the 1st down and a lot more up across the 40-yard line. Gain of 13. Tate Nelson made the tackle.
Smargesso on the quarterback draw doing a pretty good job. We'll have to wait and see how he throws the ball, but so far he runs it pretty good.
Rich Fisher in the line, the lineup for CU and linebacker now. 1st and 10. Smargesso, nice touch on the pass, and it's complete to Andre Coleman inside the Buffs' 45-yard line at about the 47.
I think they're going to say no catch as the side judge overruled the line judge. I don't know how either one of them could have seen it. This is a throw that takes the receiver to the sideline, and tough to see as to whether he caught the ball or not.
One official calls it complete, another one doesn't.
Andre Coleman. Well, the guy who thinks it's not a completion has to absolutely be certain. Tough to see from there. He certainly was inbounds. The line judge called it a catch. The side judge on the left side of the screen said no, but he was well behind the play.
Snyder a little upset, but then he's been upset all afternoon. The Buffs lead at 43-3. We have 6:22 to go in the 3rd quarter. Kansas State with 3 receivers lined up wide right. Smargesso's going to run it again now for a gain of 1. Paul Rose there to make the tackle again. Dwayne Davis in the ball game at safety for the Buffs. Lamar Gray at linebacker. Fisher at linebacker. Looks like Chad Brown is in the game now.
Coming back from mononucleosis, got to get him some playing time. He's normally a starter, but Just want to get him out there and get him back into action.
Even after missing the last couple of games with Mono, Chad Brown is still the second leading tackler on the Buffs team behind Beaker. Margesso throws into a crowd. 3 different players touch that pass, but none of them comes up with the catch. And K-State will have to punt.
I think easy to see on this play, Margesso wants to run. You can see him back there really trying to scramble before he lets the play develop. Breaks contain and gets to the outside. Watch how many players have a chance on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a lot of hands on that one. Nobody can catch it.
Kansas State is a very young team, and when you're young, you're usually able to rebound from games like this. The Wildcats brought 21 freshmen with them this weekend, Boulder. It's quite a few. Cobb punts it. McLuhan from his own 8-yard line. And up across the 20 before he skips out of bounds with a couple of penalty flags down. A 51-yard punt by Cobb.
Notre Dame, excuse me, let's start.
Go right ahead.
Notre Dame leading Penn State 14-0 first quarter. Mississippi 7-3 over Tennessee. That game to decide the Sugar Bowl representative from the Southeastern Conference.
Well, you heard Bill McCartney this week saying he hopes Notre Dame goes undefeated in its final 2 games. That way Notre Dame will be #1 going into the Orange Bowl New Year's Day against the #2 ranked CU Buffs. And so far, Notre Dame is holding up its end of the bargain, beating Penn State in South Bend, Indiana. Next week's going to be a little tougher for them, I think, Dave. They go to USC to play the Trojans.
On the return, half the distance, first down.
And UCLA leading USC right now 7-6 in the first.
Penalty was against the Buffs. They'll start with it. 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. Charles Johnson in at quarterback, spelling Darian Hagan, who's finished for the afternoon. James Hill and David Arterberry at running back. Arterberry gets the pitch, but not much yardage. 1 yard. And another flag on the field. Arterberry, a 6'2", 200-pound sophomore from here in Colorado, Mullen High School.
Arterberry is not your conventional tailback in the option game.
Dead ball, personal
you can
foul.
See there a late
on
hit.
the defense, 15 yards, first down.
But David Arterberry, very strong. He breaks a lot of tackles. He's probably at his best when you line him up in the eye and you're running between the tackles. Got good strength and good ability to break those tackles.
We touched on this a bit last week, Dave, but losing Bieniemy is certainly a blow to this program, but you've got some pretty good young running backs in the ball game in this program. Snowden, Arterberry.
And you've got a good old running back in the game now, O.C. Oliver, who set the freshman running mark in his freshman campaign for most yards rushing. Had a tough time injury-wise.
David Brown with a nice pass from Charles Johnson, but Brown can't hold on to it.
Well, Brown's a former linebacker. That thing was thrown pretty hard and tough to catch. Although he had a big reception in the Nebraska game, he actually recovered a fumble by Sean Brown at the Nebraska 1 after Brown had made the catch, which enabled CU to retain possession and eventually score.
A lot of oranges being thrown onto the field now. 2nd and 10 for the Buffs from their own 26. This is Arterberry again. Nice dance routine up across the 35-yard line. All right, he's got some good moves inside.
Yeah, that's what I mean about Arterberry. You line him up in the eye at 200-plus pounds. He's going to break a lot of tackles. And you run him, and you're going to gain some yards. Good job up front. You can see Kansas State blitzing. The offensive line picks it up. Good cutback. Arterberry was a great back at Mullen High School. I think he can be a pretty good back in college, too, once he gets the opportunity.
Greg Lindsey in the ball game now at wingback for the Buffs. the freshman redshirt. This is Arterberry again, up to the 40-yard line. Call it a gain of 4 and another first down for the Buffs. 4:06 to go in the third quarter. CU leads it 43-3. The Big 8 title is theirs. The trip to the Orange Bowl is theirs. And after the game, the person from the Orange Bowl committee will extend them the official invitation. This is a pass complete to Mark Henry, the junior out of Fleming, Colorado.
I tell you, Roderick Green, the cornerbacks, had a tough day. Mark Henry on a nice pass from Charles Johnson decides, well, I'm going to run inside. Nah, I'm going to run outside. Ah, heck, I'm just going to try to run over you. And Henry takes Roderick Green for quite a ride, about an additional 7 or 8 yards.
First and 10 for the Buffs in Kansas State territory at the 45. O.C. Oliver with a carry. And a cheer from the crowd. O.C. Oliver had a great freshman year. Didn't get a lot of work at running back since then. Crowd just with a great cheer that went O.C. Oliver.
Now, they remember him. He had a bunch of injuries, really tore up a knee in a spring, actually the last football game in spring practice. Moved to defensive back, moved to wing back. He's back at tailback. And O.C. Oliver, a terrific player out of Houston, Texas. Of course, nobody will forget that touchdown pass in the Nebraska game when CU beat the Cornhuskers 20-10. Oliver to Lance Carl.
2nd and 9. C.J. keeps it. Still on his feet. Down to the 31. And a yellow flag on the field. O.C. Oliver had that great freshman year. Set the record for a freshman running back. Yards rushing in a season. It's been a tough go.
Holding
since his
on the
freshman
offense,
year.
10 yards from the line of scrimmage.
But to his credit, he's hung with the program,
down.
hung with the sport.
Tough kid.
That play is going to be called back.
The only thing really that stopped Colorado this afternoon have been penalties. And they haven't had many. CU with 6 penalties so far.
2nd and 18 for the Buffs from their own 46-yard line. James Hill and Arterberry, the running backs. CJ with some heat. Can't get away. About 3 purple and white jerseys bring him down for the sack back at the 41. It'll be a loss of 5.
That's the kind of play that if he breaks contain there, it's going to be huge. They blitzed 8 guys as one of the Buffs down and being attended to. I think that's Greg Most, I believe.
You're right. That man from Broomfield, Colorado, freshman redshirt.
Slated for a lot of playing time next year.
Hard to tell what's the matter right now. Maybe when he gets up, we'll get a better indication. Looks like the right leg. Looks like the knee. And as Loest is taken off the field, we'll take a break at Folsom Field.
I'd really never considered buying an imported car. Then one day I realized everyone in my whole family was driving Hondas. It was like, whoa, what's going on here? The next time my car was in the shop again, my sister let me borrow her Accord. I was tempted not to give it back. I mean, when you look at the reliability, the value, the security of a Honda, why take a chance on anything less?
Honda, it makes more sense than ever. Summit, Mile High, Frontier, Empire, Ralph Shop, Classic, and Metro.
Yeah, the meeting with Nakamura went great. The way he was talking, it sounds like a done deal if we can deliver the plans by the 30th. Or we've got to give him a yes or no answer before he leaves town. Look, I got to go. He said he called from the airport. It's in the bag.
Don't miss those important calls. Call U.S. West for an extra line just for your special customers. U.S. West, making the most of your time.
My name is Ona Fowler. I was born in the year 1906. I live here alone, and this is where I hope to stay. It's my home. Thank you very much.
Well, Eric Bieniemy joins his quarterback and friend Darian Hagan on the sideline. Both are out of pads, finished for the afternoon. Bieniemy with another fine day, 22 rushes for 115 yards. And on the year, Eric Bieniemy has 1,668 yards. CU with third and a long 23 yards to go. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Charles Johnson going deep, nowhere near a receiver, except for a Kansas State defensive back who intercepts it. That's Mendez. Finally tripped up at the 27. Jamie Mendez, a freshman for K-State, intercepts the Charles Johnson pass.
Well, Mendez has had a tough time here this afternoon, but does not get fooled from his free safety spot this time, as he did against Pritchard. You see Mendez circling back, actually ahead of Charles Johnson, the intended receiver. CJ pays for chasing him right here. Bang. As Needham gets to him, and Kansas State takes over on the 27-yard line.
Nice gesture by the Buffs starting quarterback. Darian Hagan just came out onto the field to console Charles Johnson, tell him not to worry about it. Buffs lead it 43-3. Kansas State with the ball. Freshman quarterback in, Jason Smargesso. Pat Jackson runs it up across the 35. Gain of 7 or 8. Lamar Gray makes the tackle.
We talked about the weather Colorado's had to play in. Boy, here in Boulder, spectacular days this fall.
Buffs have had great weather all week, whether at home or on the road. Worst week was probably when they went up to Nebraska in the middle of that cold rainstorm. Had a little rain at Kansas, but here in Boulder, it's been gorgeous every game. K-State runs the ball for about a yard. Less than a minute to go in the quarter.
You see Greg Loest being attended to. Unfortunately, Russ Heasley spun into Loest, and Loest got that right leg caught underneath him, couldn't pick it up.
Underneath his own teammate. Well, it's always a shame to see somebody injured. It's especially a shame when you consider Loest just came into the ball game. He doesn't get a lot of work. There he is getting injured on a few plays he's been able to be in. Smargesso on the quarterback draw. Well, he likes this play, doesn't he? Gets it up to the 50. Gain of about 13. Tate Nelson there along with Dwayne Davis to stop him. Good look at Smargesso, replacing Carl Straw in the lineup. And there's a look at a dejected Bill Snyder.
Hey, finishing 5 and 6 really is to be applauded. That's not bad.
For Kansas State, it certainly is. This team is on the rebound, and it's because of Coach Snyder. Smargesso runs it again. This time hit from behind, but not before he gains 6 yards. And we're going to take a break. Here in Boulder, the Buffs still lead it 43-3 at the end of the third quarter.
The airline that brings you 10 countries across Asia and the Pacific now bridges the Atlantic to Europe. With flights to Frankfurt and to Paris. Come Come fly the airline that spans more than half the world. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
This year's winner of our Lowest Prices of the Year Sale award is, well, it's unanimous again. The winner is McDuff Electronics and Appliances.
Don't worry, no speech, just incredible bargains during our Lowest Prices of the Year sale.
Right now, save on this Frigidaire 18 cubic foot frost-free refrigerator, just $397.87, and make no payments till April on any purchase over $100. So come in and save during our Lowest Prices of the Year sale.
And remember, nobody undersells McDuff.
Sunday on News 4, Bob Palmer brings you a telling tale of human nature, of characters who helped shape the early West. Watch Bob's Colorado at 5 and 10 Sunday on News 4. Watch the Lotto drawing tonight at 10 here on Channel 4. Today's game is being brought to you by Grease Monkey and by Samsonite, both proud companies for Colorado, and also by Taco Bell, by U.S. West, and by Miller Genuine Draft Light.
Well, we just got some news from the CU sideline, and Mark McIntosh has it. Mac?
Yeah, Les, this is from the Ripley's Believe It or Not, but I just got word from the CU bench that Alfred Williams and Canavis McGee, the next time the Buffs get the football, are going to go in as receivers. We don't know whether that's going to be tight end or wide receiver, and I tell you, there might be some truth to it because I saw Canavis come over and spray a bunch of stickum on his hands, so maybe he's hoping he can latch onto one. Back up to you guys.
Is that legal?
I tell you what he better do. You better get rid of those big pads and all the leg pads. You got to play receiver. You got to be nifty, and you can't be all bulked up. And get him a new face mask and a new helmet. Get him some sweatbands and spatty shoes. I mean, if you're going to do it right.
And don't get him hurt, or somebody's going to hang Bill McCartney. K-State with the ball at the CU 45-yard line. 2nd and 5. This is Jackson. Down to the 42. Call it a gain of 3.
Take a look at the third quarter stats, and it's been all CU. Colorado had 456 in total yards at halftime, so not much action in the third quarter. Kansas State just trying to survive and done a decent job offensively when you think about where they've come and where they are now.
They came in with a scoring average of 25 points a game, but then again, they haven't gone against the CU Buffs yet. 3rd and 2. Close to that first down. Might be a little short. What do you think, Dave?
Les, I think he's about 5 inches short.
Well, you were pretty close on your last guess. And that's without binoculars, folks. I think he's going to be about 2 feet short. It will be 4th and a short 1 yard. K-State's going to go for it. Why not?
Well, the way Smart Justin's been running around, maybe you just call a quarterback sneak.
Well, we told you about Canavis McGee and Alfred Williams coming back into the game to play offense. Joe Garton, an offensive lineman, we're told, might come into the game to play a little fullback.
Now, he doesn't have to change anything. He looks just like a fullback. And look, the other guys, they've got to readjust their wardrobe a bit.
He doesn't have to change his mentality either. He's got a fullback's mentality.
Big pads and the thick legs and the face mask all banged up and blood on his elbow. I mean, he looks like a fullback.
Well, Kansas State calls a timeout, so we'll take 1, 2. Be right back.
This is it.
There's only one light beer with big draft taste. Cold filtered, genuine draft light.
Yeah, we're gonna need some help up here, over.
Visit your local Grease Monkey for a care pack today.
Donnie, come on, come on. Don, you know, a lot of people saw our last Chevy commercial, and they said, who are those guys? And quite frankly, that hurts.
Hey, does anyone ask who that guy jumping up and down in the Toyota commercial is?
No.
And he charges an arm and a leg for his cars.
So to answer your question once and for all, I'm Steve.
I'm Leo.
Case closed. Another big complaint was that we ran out of time before we could actually show you a Chevy.
Guilty as charged.
So here's one now.
That's a full-size Chevy truck, and look at that deal.
Deals like that on all Chevy trucks right now.
I'll let you show another one.
Well, now we are out of time.
You know, commercials seem a lot longer at home.
Beats me. I actually just go out and make a sandwich.
Make a flinch.
A look at K-State head coach Bill Snyder. He has yet to win a game on the road. He will be 0-10 as the Kansas State mentor. He doesn't get the first down. They needed 1 yard, but Kansas State does not get it. Let's go down to Mark McIntosh.
All right, we got an update on this possible play involving Kanavis McGee and Alfred Williams, and they're coming into the ball game right now. Look for them both to line up at tight end. They're going to run curl patterns about 10 yards downfield. I found out they practiced this during the week, so this isn't completely new. Back up to you guys.
Well, it's completely new in live action, that's for sure.
Hey, Mac, when you talk to them in the locker room, make sure you get on them for not taking care. I mean, they don't look like tight ends or receivers. They look like linebackers. At a three-point stance, not bad.
McGee on the left side of the line, Williams on the right side. And Charles Johnson might throw to him. He does. He tries to hit Kanavis McGee, who tries to go over the linebacker to get it. A nice effort.
I tell you what, they're going to go off. One play is all they can stand, and the fans appreciate the effort. Hey, they hit guys all the time, and they never get a chance to catch the ball, run for a touchdown, play the glamorous side of the ball, so why not?
What are you saying? They hit guys all the time, so they should have a chance to get hit?
Sure. No, they play the glamorous side of the ball. How many touchdowns do they get to score, huh? Let them play. One play's enough, though.
They've garnered enough glamour to last a lifetime. Great seasons here at CU at linebacker. Charles Johnson fumbles the ball, falls on it himself at the 39-yard line, calling a loss of 3.
The only good news about that play, the clock continues to run.
13:05 to go in this ball game. Awaiting the Buffs in the locker room, Steve Hatchell and Arthur Hertz from the Orange Bowl. Bowl bids cannot go out until November 24th, but that's when you're looking for at-large teams. When you win the Big 8, you automatically go to the Orange Bowl. 3rd and 13. Johnson looking for David Brown, incomplete. And the Buffs in a punting situation. A little wrestling going down at the 35-yard line. Broken up. Number 79, Russ Heasley for the Buffs, an offensive lineman. Put the pin on one of the K-State players.
I bet you won't see many tight ends or wide receivers asking to play linebacker on defense. What do you think?
I think you're right.
No, sir.
Michael Smith back to receive the punt from Tom Ruin. Ruin shanks it to the right. Smith tries it up the middle. Gets up to the 28-yard line, brought down by Scott DeGoler. A 40-yard punt and an 8-yard return by Smith. Let's go down to the field right now. Another report from Mark McIntosh.
Thanks, guys. The report on Greg Lose is as bad as you guys had predicted. He tore both ligaments in that knee. Dave Burton says he'll have major surgery very soon. Back upstairs.
That's bad.
What a shame. What a shame. First and 10 from the K-State 27-yard line. Smargesso is still the quarterback. Up across the 30-yard line is Richard Boyd. Richard Boyd, the starting fullback for K-State normally, hasn't gotten a lot of action today. Gained 3 yards on that play. It'll be 2nd and 7. Under 12 minutes to go in this final regular season game. We here at Channel 4 won't get to call the Orange Bowl game for you, but it will be on NBC and Channel 4. New Year's Day. Jeff Bruner made the tackle on that play for the Buffs.
Bruner's pretty active for a nose guard. He's played some behind Joel Steed this year. He's a little bit small for the position, but very, very quick. You can see him on Smart Gesso before he can get set.
Freshman red shirt from Sterling, Colorado.
Reminds you a little bit of Kyle Rappold because of that quickness and overall stature.
The coaching staff hopes he isn't quite as vocal as Kyle Rappold was when he was here. 3rd and 15. The draw to Jackson. And he is waylaid by Eric Hamilton. K-State has a 4th down and long situation. They bring in the punter, Cobb. Rico Smith will return the punt for the Buffs. Look at 16, Vance Joseph. Might get a little work before the afternoon is over for the Buffs at quarterback. There's a kid Bill McCartney likes a lot. Young man from New Orleans. There'll be a penalty flag. K-State moved on the offensive line there. Smith fields it at the 38. Gets it to midfield, racked up at the 49. And you see the preliminary call there. It will go against the Wildcats. A 39-yard punt and an 11-yard return by Rico Smith. Bill McCartney wants to decline that penalty because the Buffs have good field position. And speaking
against the kicking team.
Speaking of Bill McCartney, he will be in our studio tomorrow night for the Bill McCartney Show. Sundays at 10:35 following the News 4 late edition, and the man sitting right next to me, Dave Logan, will host what should be a very happy show. So what are you going to do? You're going to talk to him about playing Notre Dame tomorrow night?
Whatever he wants to talk about.
You're the host, Dave.
You don't see my name on it, do you? Let me ask you this. When Dan Reeves show, what do you ask Dan?
Well, this year... yeah, no comment. Vance Joseph in for the Buffs at quarterback. Keeps the ball on the option. A nice little jaunt down to the 36-yard line.
Says thank you to Charles Johnson, the wide receiver, for trying to get a block. Vance Joseph is very, very quick. And he's a guy that you'll see playing quarterback in the next few years. Of course, Charles Johnson's back as well, but Vance has very good option skills. Here he tries to set up the block by Charles Johnson on the right side and then runs almost right over it.
16-yard gain for Joseph. Buffs down to the K-State 35-yard line with a 1st down. Under 10 minutes to go in the game. Vance Joseph with a drill of a pass to tight end John Bowman. It's a minor miracle Bowman held on to that one.
I'll tell you, that's one that kills your average per reception.
Let's go down to the field and Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thanks, guys. A lot of former Buffs on the sidelines today. One of them right here with me right now, fullback Eric Kissick. What's been going on these days?
Well, right now, I tell you, I'm married. I have a beautiful little daughter, Emily, and I work at Xerox down in Denver.
Have you had a chance to see the Buffs play much this year?
Oh, yeah. Every week. I watch them every week. Proud of them.
You going to Miami?
I hopefully, maybe. I don't know yet. I'll be watching it on TV, though.
What's your prediction this year? Last year, you guys, you know, I know you guys felt you should have beat Notre Dame. You did not. How do you think they're going to do this year?
They'll win the game. I can't make any predictions. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. Notre Dame's a tough team. But I think this is their year.
Why can't you make any predictions?
I can't make any score predictions. They'll win the game. They're going to win the game.
What do you think was the turnaround for this team this year? You know, they were 1-1-1, then they got their act together. What do you think was the turnaround?
I think that basically they just woke up and realized where they were at. You know, at first they started off a little, shaky. They didn't realize the opportunity they had, and Mac did a good job of coming together. The seniors rose, and so they're where they're at now. They're going to Miami.
All right, Eric Kissick, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back up to you. Sorry, we kind of talked through 2 plays there, but I know you guys will pick everybody up.
It's all right, Mark. In a 43-3 game, it doesn't matter a whole lot.
Mark McIntosh pressing Eric Kissick for some sort of prediction.
Vance Joseph ran the last 2 plays for the Buffs. Got enough yardage for another first down. Boy, he was tough on Kissick, wasn't he? Oh, boy. 1st and 10 from the K-State 25-yard line. James Hill and Chuck Snowden, the running backs for the Buffs. This is Snowden. A nice run, but a flag on the field.
I'll tell you, Evan Simpson, as we get a holding call against Colorado, the nose guard for Kansas State, if we could get a shot of him, if you ever wondered, if you hadn't watched football and you wonder what the prototype nose guard looks like.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot, replete the down.
Evan Simpson, number 76 in the white, could be nothing other than a nose guard. Can we get, I mean, is that a nose guard or is that a nose guard? And fellas, he hadn't been blocked too many times this afternoon. And he sits in there, and he even looks good on pictures. Got the shades on.
That's right, the shades so nobody will recognize him.
I'll tell you what, I mean, you got to love a guy that big.
Into the ball game for the Buffs. At tailback, a senior, Roger Yago from Littleton, Colorado. Number 41. He's the man left side of your screen. Yago gets the call, but not much protection. That'll be a loss of 3 yards. And Yago comes out of the game now. Well, I'll tell you what's nice to see, Dave. Every time one of these Buffs comes off the field, Darian Hagan, who is out of pad, comes out onto the field and slaps him a high five.
Roger Yago, he never had a chance on this one. Kansas State blitzing up the middle. They hog time and get him down, but he got a standing O coming off the field. Nice to see the senior.
And the fans with a chant, here we go, Yago, here we go. He's not in the ball game now, though. 2nd and 24. Vance Joseph goes deep. Mark Henry, touchdown! Vance Joseph's first touchdown pass of the year. Mark Henry's first touchdown reception.
Well, good job by both players. Vance Joseph eludes a tackler, buys himself some time. This is the same pattern that Pritchard caught earlier from Darian Hagan. Joseph throws it right as he gets hit, and Mark Henry behind the free safety and behind the cornerback as well. Pretty good play for guys that don't get many opportunities to play.
Well, if you're on the Kansas State sideline, you have to wonder what's going on here. The Buffs throwing deep with a 40-point lead. But, you know, it's hard to put these kids in the ballgame that don't play a whole lot and say, okay, don't do much. They want to do well, and they are doing well. Bluto for the extra point. This will be point number 50. And he's got it. The Buffs take a 50-3 lead with 6:54 to go in the game.
To introduce Isuzu's new Rodeo, we've placed it and Toyota's 4Runner in this campground to see which is better for family fun.
Sure, the Rodeo has more horsepower and rear anti-locking brakes, but another key difference is that only the Rodeo seats 6.
So, combined with its price, thousands less than 4Runner, we see that only in a Rodeo, no one gets stung.
The new Isuzu Rodeo, at just $12,499, there's no comparison.
Before you men go on this mission, I'm taking you to the best French restaurant in the city. French food, French food, French food, French food, French food, French food.
Somewhere a small restaurant is missing a big sale.
It was busy.
But U.S. West Communications can keep your small business from missing those big sales.
How about pizza? Yeah!
Find out how to protect those orders from going to the competition. Call U.S. West, making the most of your time.
What would you say if Pizza Hut served up fully loaded Supreme pizzas for the never-before low price of just $6.99 each?
Oh, baby, that's what I like.
It's the Holiday Feast deal. Get up to 5 Supreme pizzas each for just $6.99.
Oh, baby, that's what I like.
The Supreme Pizza with 6 of your favorite toppings at a price you're really gonna like. So this holiday season, hurry into Pizza Hut for the deal that's got everyone saying,
oh, baby, that's what I like.
look, the man with the black under his eyes is Mark Henry, number 25, the junior out of Fleming, Colorado. Just hauled in a 39-yard touchdown pass from Vance Joseph. And the Buffs go up 50-3. Bluto kicking off. Andre Coleman will kneel down. All this Buff scoring, and Kansas State has had one chance, or has taken the opportunity only once all day, to run the ball out of the end zone on the kickoff. A real credit to the big feet of Pat Bluto and Jim Harper, the men doing the kicking off for the Buffs today. Well, they just announced over the public address system there's another senior participating in his last home game here, Chip the mascot, the young man that dresses up in that Buffalo outfit. First and 10 for K-State from its own 20-yard line. A new quarterback in the game for K-State. That's Matt Garber, a sophomore out of Kansas, and a flag on the field on the incomplete throw. I was going to try and pronounce the name of his hometown, but I didn't have a clue. S-A-B-E-T-H-A.
Illegal motion on the offense. Decline. Second down.
He threw it to
Sabetha, Kansas.
That's it. He threw it to number 82, and I don't have a clue who he is.
Not on the roster.
All right. Well, not on the roster. Almost got hit in the head with the football because he didn't turn around quick enough.
Fortunately, Mr. Roster came out of the ball. No, he's back in at flanker. And a quick pass to him, but he wasn't looking.
He's got to turn around. Let's get his name.
Get those binoculars out.
That's Garner. That's Mr. Garner. Nope, that's Vasseur. Mr. Vasseur, the last couple of times, didn't get his head turned around. He's nowhere to be found. We're checking the rosters.
Oh, you've heard of the no-name defense? Oh. This is the no-name offense. Third and 10 for K-State. Garber sets up the screen, and once again, whoever the intended receiver was wasn't looking. The ball falls in between three purple and white jerseys.
Yeah, that was going to be a screen to Richard Boyd, and Colorado did a good job of sniffing out the play. You said give credit to the kickoff team of Colorado. Let's also give credit to those who have stayed with us the entire afternoon watching this game at home.
And those who will stay with us the final 6 minutes and 42 seconds, I would like to tell you that when this game is over, we will attempt to go into the CU locker room for that presentation of the Orange Bowl invitation. Can't make any promises, but we'll try to do it. Cobb is punting for K-State. Dave McCluen is returning. Fumbles the ball, gets the good bounce, and gets a nice run back down to the 44-yard line of K-State. Well, it's been a roller coaster ride up and down the rankings for CU, but what matters is where you end up, and right now they're number 2.
Well, look at September 17th and the 24th. They are ranked number 20 in the country. That, of course, coming after the loss to Illinois, the tie to the tie with Tennessee early, the loss to Illinois, and then they started to make their move. Actually, they won October 1st and dropped a couple of notches, and then things just kind of fell in place for the remainder of the year. 10, 9, 4, and 2 the last 4 weeks.
They dropped a couple notches that weekend because that was the controversial win, the 5th down game against Missouri. Flags on the field.
You got Canavis and Alford playing tight ends, and you can't let them play tight end if they're going to jump off sides now. I'll tell you, those two. Hey, every defensive guy will hear the call.
Dead ball, encroachment on the offense, repeat first down.
I bet 90% of all the defensive players at every level, if you ask them, they'd say, I wish I could play offense. Now, some of them athletically can, but I bet most of them would say, yeah, give me a chance to play either tight end or fullback or something where the ball's thrown to me. I can't get to the football. So McGee and Williams will have another opportunity.
They're still in the ball game, lined up as tight ends on opposite sides. Vance Joseph, the quarterback. He lifts one to Alfred Williams, who makes a great catch.
Keep the ball, Alfred.
A great catch by Alfred Williams. Goes over the defender down to the 31-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Joe Harrington ought to get Alfred to come out and play basketball, but he's going to be a first-round draft choice and won't be able to. Williams on the left side just runs a nice little flag pattern. Watch this catch, folks. You think this guy can play a little tight end? Oh, do tight ends in the NFL make more than outside linebackers? Absolutely not.
A first down picked up by Alfred Williams. Vance Joseph tries to run it. Gain of 1.
Boy, you're never going to hear the end of that one, I can tell you. Alfred Williams, his first career catch. One catch for 16 yards. Not a bad average. So Alfred can say next year, hey, I averaged 16 yards a catch in my career.
He can also say he played both ends of the field.
Oh.
He was a two-way man in college.
That's right.
A lot of you might not be aware of it. He and Kanavis McGee are very good friends. They're both from Houston. They call themselves the H-Boys. This is Arterberry looking for a hole, finds one. It's about 5 yards. Short of the first down, however.
We'll give you some final scores. Illinois beat Indiana today 24-10. Clemson 24, South Carolina 15, Michigan 35, Minnesota 18. Maryland beat Virginia 35-30, Georgia Tech 42, Wake Forest 7, Syracuse 31, West Virginia 7, North Carolina 24, Duke 22, Florida leading Kentucky in the fourth quarter 47-15, BYU 38-16 over Utah in the fourth, Michigan State 22-15 over Northwestern in the fourth. And Alabama is leading Cincinnati 45-7 in the fourth. Notre Dame 21, Penn State 7. That's in the second quarter.
There's a timeout on the field. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
This is it. There's only one light beer with big draft taste. Cold filtered, genuine draft light. Yeah, we're gonna need some help up here, over.
When your car was new, it was born to run. Galloping around on regular unleaded gasoline was just fine. But with time, your car can have its ups and downs, begin to lumber along. And it's a fact. Around 15,000 miles, your car can start to lose acceleration, because regular unleaded may not be enough. Now's the time to turn to silver. Higher octane EMCO Silver can bring back the power. And remember, when you drive, make every gallon count.
Well, some of the Buffs players couldn't wait until the end of the game. They've already dumped water all over Bill McCartney in celebration of another Big 8 title, another trip to the Orange Bowl. 3rd and 5 for the Buffs. The reverse goes for the touchdown. A 26-yard touchdown run by freshman wide receiver Charles Johnson. The play that normally goes to Mike Pritchard this time goes to another CJ.
I tell you, watching Bill Snyder's reaction, I don't think he appreciates this. The pitch, they've blitzed the entire time, and Charles Johnson does a nice job of ducking up inside the block of David Brown into the end zone, but Bill Snyder stood and had a long look to the other sideline with his hands on his hips as if to say, I mean, how much is enough?
Luteau the extra point. 57 points on the board for the Buffs. They lead it 57-3. And the K-State sideline is somewhat stunned.
Somewhat? Kansas State's been blitzing much of the game, and they almost blow this thing up. Vance Joseph was being drugged down much the way Hagan was in the first half when he pitched to Mike Pritchard, but he gets the ball away, and Charles Johnson, again with very good speed, good block there, and Charles Johnson off to the races. C.E. Johnson. He is not the quarterback, obviously. He is Charles Johnson, the wide receiver.
Well, this is by far the highest point total for the Buffs this year. Last year they had a game where they scored 59 points, and it happened to be against the same Kansas State team. They beat the Wildcats last year in Manhattan, 59-11. This crowd is loving every minute of it. If we can get a shot, the band is playing, people are up dancing. The record for points in a game for the Buffs is 65. They scored that against the University of Arizona back in 1958, so it is within reach. They're just 8 points away. Bluto kicking off. Once again, far beyond the end zone, and Kansas State without a chance to run it back. .435 to go, and then CU can start thinking about Notre Dame and the Orange Bowl. Dave, how do you think that Notre Dame team this year compares to the team that beat CU in the Orange Bowl last year?
Well, I think Notre Dame's a better passing team this year with Rick Meyer. Can throw the ball. They're more versatile. They've given up a lot more yardage this year than last year defensively, and I think that would be the key to the game. What the CU offense does, do they dominate and control the line of scrimmage?
Garber intercepted by Paul Rose. Rose down to the 10, waiting for the blocking, pushed out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. Paul Rose, the senior from Columbine High School, his second interception on the year.
Well, not a bad way to end his career. David Gibbs, a senior, he's got an interception. And now Paul Rose gets into the act. The ball was thrown right to him, and Rose has played a little fullback in his career, too, and had thoughts about trying to get across the goal line on that one. This is an easy pick. Ball's thrown right to Paul Rose. He got good depth on the drop, and you can see had he not caught it, Rodney Bradford might have had it.
So the Buffs have a first down at the Kansas State 8-yard line. Once again, remember, 65 points is the record for CU. A new quarterback in for the Buffs. That's Mike Freeman, a sophomore out of Littleton. O.C. Oliver up the middle, touchdown.
And I tell you, you would have thought they just won the game by 1 point. There must be 20 CU players on the field to celebrate O.C. Oliver's touchdown. They know he's had a tough time, a tough career here because of injuries. Everybody thrilled that O.C. got his final opportunity.
Popular and a very likable young man.
And this one, he's untouched all the way to the goal line. Excellent job blocking, a good job by the fullback, James Hill. And O.C. Oliver caps a fine career here. Look at those guys mobbing him.
Look at that scene on the sideline. And once again, the chant from the crowd, O.C. Oliver.
They've got him up on their shoulders in the sideline.
Well, if they went for the 2 points, they would have tied their record for points in a game. Instead, Bluto kicks the extra point, and they're up 64-3.
Well, I'm not glad to see the score run up, but I'm glad to see O.C. Oliver have a chance to wind it up the way he started it. O.C. Oliver was an outstanding running back for people who didn't follow CU that many years ago. Good block by James Hill, and O.C. Oliver, as he did in his freshman year, scampers through a big hole and gets into the end zone.
Well, that McCartney show tomorrow night you're going to be hosting, you could fill the whole half hour with offensive highlights. Paul Rose set up the touchdown with an interception.
Those poor guys doing push-ups. The cheerleaders at it again. They've got about 300 push-ups today.
There was only one person on this field feeling more weary than them, and that's the head coach of Kansas State, Bill Snyder.
You ever notice after you get tired push-ups, they don't go down very far. The arms bend just a little bit. Then the head starts to go down. Actually, you touch your nose. The crowd now booing them. They're doing sit-ups now. Too tired to do push-ups. I'll do sit-ups. The girl's going to do it, yes. There's some time.
Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Get him up.
The cheerleader.
That's a great shot. Oh.
These guys won't have to work out for a week now. I'm just told by our spotter, Doug Strauss, we're going to revise that record for points in a game. In 1905, the Buffs beat Regis College. Take a guess at the score, Dave. I'll tell you it was a shutout.
93-0.
109.
Not bad.
To nothing.
I missed a couple of touchdowns with two-point conversions. I got there late. The game had already started.
Ray Friedman, our statistician, just told us that after hearing that, Nebraska is going to schedule Regis College for next year.
That comment by Les Shapiro, you can send your letters and calls to Channel 4. I'll give you the phone number a little later, folks.
4:22 to go in this game. The Buffs lead it 64-3. Into the ball game for Kansas, and running that ball is Kip Rawlings, freshman out of Utah.
It's amazing. Most of the crowd has stayed around. I would say the majority of the seats are still filled. They just want to take this thing down to the end. Nice tackle by Ronnie Woolfolk, the outside linebacker, but this is the last opportunity to see a lot of these great players, and not many folks have decided to leave early.
See that newspaper article in Denver Post this week about how many Buffs might be drafted? We could see 10 of these seniors go in the NFL draft, and maybe 12 altogether on an NFL roster next year. They're that talented and that deep. Rawlings again with the carry, doesn't get very far. 3rd and 11 for the Wildcats. I would assume Kansas State will remember this one next year when the Buffs come into Manhattan, Kansas.
Darian Hagan may be calling plays here in the fourth quarter.
3rd and 11 from their own 19, Kansas State. Smargesso, the quarterback. Rawlings to the 21. Hit by a host of black and gold jerseys.
I tell you, bloodthirsty fans here in Boulder, they want more.
Oh, yeah! Yes! Woo! Woo! Yes!
Lot to smile and cheer about.
Yeah! We're going on, ball!
We'll probably see him down in Miami.
Someone come pick him up, please. Oh.
Fans starting the wave now. Kansas State will punt. Rico Smith will receive it. At about the 42, calls for a fair catch. No reason to get hurt returning the punt. Not now with 2:09 to go in the game. There's a young Buck fan. Well, not quite number one. Not yet, young lady. Still number 2 and looking to knock off the number 1 team, Notre Dame, in the Orange Bowl New Year's Day. There were only 10 players on the CU punt unit at that time. Didn't matter. Rico Smith chose to fair catch the ball. Freeman, the quarterback for CU. Up the middle, maybe a yard. Well, and with today's sellout, the Buffs set an all-time attendance record. They've gone over the 310,000 mark for attendance on the year. Well, we've had a great year here doing the Buffs on Channel 4.
Absolutely.
They've given us a good product. Hopefully we've given you, the viewers, a good product. Number of people to thank. We'll get to those names near the end of the broadcast. I'd personally like to thank the CU Sports Information Department for all the help they've given us this year. Dave Platty, the SID, his assistants, Tom Peterson and Doug Strauss. Doug happens to be our spotter today. And there are some of the names from Channel 4 who have given you the pictures and the sound throughout the 1990 college football season.
Yep, and we sure appreciate everybody that has worked in the truck, done a great job the entire year.
Done a great job, guys. A lot of us will be going down to the Orange Bowl to cover the Buffs down there for the week preceding the ball game. So keep that dial on, Channel 4. We'll tell you what's happening with the Buffs all along the way down in Miami. Mrs. Hill has some room. They can turn the corner. He fumbles the ball. And it is recovered by Kansas State. So a nice run by James Hill, negated by the fumble. John Butler recovers it for Kansas State.
I think that's Colorado's first turnover of the game.
No, Charles Johnson threw an interception.
Charles Johnson threw an interception. That's their second turnover of the game. James Hill, you're going to see a lot of him next year out of Whitefield High School. He's had it slapped out of his hands.
Hey, he's a bruiser. Hill can block it. Hill can run it. He'll get a lot of work next year, especially with George Hemingway leaving. Hemingway, a senior. Well, if we can get a shot of this, the fans are descending from the top of the stadium down to the first row of seats.
Batting the hatches.
I would imagine they intend to jump out onto this field and help the Buffs celebrate another Big 8 title and a trip to the Orange Bowl. That should be the last play of the afternoon. We're under 20 seconds. Under 10 seconds. The Buffs starting to filter out onto the field. The officials asking for the ball. And Bill McCartney will call it a day. The CU Buffs, back-to-back Big 8 titles, back-to-back trips to the Orange Bowl. The security folks trying to do their job and keep the fans off the field and away from the goalposts.
They're like Custer. You see Bill Snyder and Bill McCartney talking after the game. Fans everywhere on Folsom Field.
Security doing a great job keeping them away from the goalposts.
I wouldn't bet on that happening much longer, though. They're everywhere. First time ever in Big 8 Conference history that a team other than Oklahoma and Nebraska has won back-to-back titles, and CU has been perfect in the Big 8 the last 2 years.
Back-to-back 10-win seasons for the Buffs for the first time ever. Bill McCartney trying to enjoy it while talking to the media. Oh, you've got to feel awfully proud being an alum.
Absolutely. We've said it many times before, this program has come a long, long way since 1984. That year, Bill McCartney was in danger of losing his job. Bill Marolt decided to give him a new contract, and he has turned things around and has helped to recruit guys like Canavis McGee, as you see, Alfred Williams. But now the blue chip athletes, the cream of the crop, they look at Colorado as a place that they can go to, play on a good football team, play in a big-time bowl, and also have a chance to play for the national championship.
After a while, it gets to the point with a good program where you don't have to recruit the player as much as they recruit you. There's a look at the inside of the Buffs locker room facility. try and get you that official announcement from the Orange Bowl committee people
baby? See
as
you
they
in
invite the
Miami.
Buffs to the Orange Bowl. Joe Garton slapping 5. It's a nice scene. You knew it was coming the last couple weeks, but now you're living the reality of it.
And also the reality of not enough security people to keep those goalposts up. The security guys in the light blue shirts fighting a losing battle are still trying to hold on to the goalposts, but it's coming down, folks.
They might be taking it down themselves so the fans don't do it. That's exactly what they're doing. They unscrew the base of the goalpost so the fans don't rip them down. Those things are expensive. I believe when we saw the folks up in Fort Collins rip down the goalposts at Hughes Field, I think I saw a figure of $5,000.
5 or 7. If it seems more businesslike in the locker room, this team really has endured a lot of hard times this year. They've come from behind in so many victories and got a hard bark to them.
All right, we're going to take a break. We will come back and try and get that Orange Bowl announcement at Folsom Field.
We could spend 30 seconds talking about the 1991 Pontiac Sunbird, priced at just $81.84. But we'll let the Sunbird speak for itself. 1991 Pontiac Sunbird at $81.84. Plus, if you qualify as a first-time buyer, get an additional $600 cash back. For the ride of your life, see your Colorado Pontiac dealer.
Back when I was a boy, Mom made a country fried steak that was so good we couldn't wait to sit down to supper. I always thought we should have one just like it at Wendy's.
Introducing Wendy's 99-cent country fried steak. 100% beef, lightly breaded and cooked golden brown. It's new on the 99-cent super value menu.
You can take the boy out of the country, but he still has to eat.
Try the new 99-cent country fried steak only on Wendy's super value menu.
Presents its 30th annual production of The Nutcracker, November 30th through December 24th. For tickets, call 290-TIXS. Presented by the Colorado Ballet and Channel 4.
Katie, this is my grandfather, and this is your great-grandfather. Now, that is kind of confusing, isn't it? What about your great-grandfather? Was he a hero, or was he a zero? I'm going back into my family history in Bob's, Colorado. You'll meet my great-great-great-great-grandfather, the first Episcopal priest in Colorado. My ancestors shared some of the triumphs and the tragedies of our rich Colorado history. I'm Bob Palmer. Join me for Bob's, Colorado at 5 and 10 Sunday.
Here's a shot live from the CU locker room. That, my friends, is the Big 8 trophy, held up by Joe Garton.
We'll see you with this, Coach.
On your left, and George Hemingway, the Buffs' fine fullback on your right. The Big 8 trophy. For the second year in a row, it'll stay right here in Boulder.
2, 3, 5. See you down the field. See you fight for victory. See you don't know defeat, so roll up that bicycle. Never give in.
Well, the CU fight song, and a costly one it was. They're going to have to do a little repair work on the ceiling there. There's the other goalpost that the security folks didn't get down in time, so the fans took care of it. Then also a live shot from the Folsom Field floor. Meanwhile, back in the CU locker room, you see the back of head coach Bill McCartney and his quarterback there, Darian Hagan. Tom Peterson, the assistant SID on the right. Bill Marook, the athletic director, with the microphone there with an announcement.
And the executive director of the Orange Bowl, an old Colorado Buck himself, Steve Hatchell. I'd like to have you hear from President Bond, who will introduce President Hurts.
Go, go! You did it, you did it! Orange Bowl bound, #1. Great fellas, thanks a lot. This is Chairman, President of Orange Bowl, Arthur Hertz. He's with us to tell us where we're going January the 1st.
It looks like some familiar, friendly faces I saw last year. Now, last year was practice. This year is the real game. As president of the Orange Bowl, I'm empowered to offer the bid today to the 57th annual Orange Bowl game that we played January 1st, 1991. We ask you to be our home team.
We accept. How do you guys look? Back.
This is the official bid. It's now official. You're the home team.
Yeah.
Arthur, thank you very much. This will be a great trip. We do accept without question, and it's great to have you here. And we're looking forward to being back on the beach.
Darian Hagan with the hat on, cheering, and let's go into that locker room and our Mark McIntosh. Mark, you there?
Yeah, we are here with Alfred Williams, the outstanding All-American linebacker. First, I got to ask you, I know this feels good. You're going back to Miami.
Yeah, this feels very good. You know, this
back-to-back.
This pleasure hasn't been one that's been here for many years, and now we've got a new tradition that's starting, and hopefully it'll go on forever and keep the state of Colorado proud.
You guys were 1-1-1 when you went down to Austin, Texas. That was the turning point, wasn't it?
It sure was. You know, that 1-1-1 record was, you know, it was an understatement for the way we were playing, and I'm glad a lot of guys stayed focused and came through like they did.
I got to dog you about this, man. How about that pass reception today?
Oh, you know me, you know, I'm the Michael Jordan of college football, so I had to go up and get it.
All right, you've heard it right there from Alfred Williams, the All-American linebacker for the CU Buffs. Darian Hagan has joined us right here, right now. Darian, I know you got to be happy. You guys are going to the Orange Bowl again.
Oh yeah, I'm real happy. We played a tough schedule, and we've been fighting all year to get back where we at now, and it's just rewarding to get back there.
All right, buddy. Good luck to you New Year's night in Miami.
All right, thanks a lot.
Darian Hagan, the Buffs quarterback. Back upstairs to Les.
Thanks, Mark. They sure did play a tough schedule. 6 of the 12 teams on that schedule were ranked in the top 20. So the final score here from Folsom Field, 64-3, the Buffs over Kansas State. The executive producer of today's game is Tom Edwards, produced by Terry Travato, directed by Tom Richards. The chief engineer is John Bache. For my partner Dave Logan and Mark McIntosh, this is Les Shapiro saying good afternoon from Folsom Field. This has been a presentation of Channel 4 Sports, the home of the CU Buffaloes.
Hey, sometimes you try and annihilate your fellow athletes, but other times you try and do all that you can for them. As spokesperson for the U.S. Association for Blind Athletes, I'd like to invite you to Wendy's to enjoy a Carl's Combo, a big classic hamburger, biggie drink, and biggie fries. For every one you order, Wendy's will donate 25 cents to these courageous athletes. So come on, order a Carl's Combo. I know you're not as mean as me, but I bet you're just as nice.
Channel 4 invites you to join the good times at Walt Disney's World on Ice. Mickey and Minnie will be there with Donald and Daisy, the Rescue Rangers, and a magical flight with Peter Pan, December 4th through 9th at McNichols Sports Arena. Join the fun with Channel 4 on opening night, Tuesday, December 4th at 7:30 p.m. when all tickets are $3 off. Channel 4 Rocky Mountain News opening night discount tickets are on sale at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Walt Disney's World on Ice. It's where the fun is.
A time to care message from United Airlines.
Give a boy a chance. The driving force behind the Denver area boys clubs, whose main mission is to encourage young men to be the best that they can be. Countless volunteers give of their time and energy to help boys achieve a sense of pride, accomplishment, and self-esteem. The Denver area boys clubs, taking the time to care.
United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Special bleacher seats for the News 4 Parade of Lights at King Soopers.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Shot to go, and again, Johnson's in the fight for the rebound, and it'll come in down to the running Rebs.
Let me tell you something about Greg Anthony. He's paying his own way to school here this year, and he's a PR rep for a real estate firm, and he owns a sporting goods business. But he's paying his own way, so it has nothing to do with the NCAA. He's in his 5th year. He started out at Portland, and he was the most valuable player in that conference. Then he transferred here, sat out a year, and played this 3rd year.
And he's from Las Vegas.
Originally.
I want this Larry Johnson on my team now. How good is this guy?
So does everybody in the NBA.
He's a complete player, though. He defends all over the floor. He runs, racehorse speed. He's smart. He's got the whole package, this guy.
But the biggest thing he has, and I said it earlier, and I'm repeating myself, is his leadership quality. He's just an outstanding young man. And he wants to do what's right. And I said to him earlier about, would you have liked to have gone into pro ball this year? He said, no, I wanted to spend the 2 years in college. And here we go. So there'll be plenty of time for ringing the register.
He'll ring it good. From a tough part of Big D from South Dallas. And he's a big hero. He goes back there and plays in the summer leagues, and places are packed. He's the guy from South Dallas who made it big.
12-point spread with 6.5 minutes to halftime.
Hoffman down low, and again to the basket with abandon goes big Larry Johnson, but he can't get it down. Game clock shows 6:30 to play in the first half.
They've got to double down on Larry. I mean, once he gets his position, forget it. They're not doubling down. He gets inside, and he's just a destroyer inside. He has a sumo body. Sumo wrestler.
Yeah, and he's lean now. He's big, but he's lean.
Lean? Well, you're used to those Notre Dame football players anyway. You call them lean, too.
This guy's 250 pounds with a 34-inch waist.
Think Coach Lou Holtz would like to happen?
You just stand him out there, he's going to scare somebody with it. I bet he'd be a great football player. Pass rusher, tight end. Fullback.
Watch this defense right away. See, right up on top of it. Look, they stepped in front of him. What are they going to call here? Oh, they're going to call he stepped in front, didn't allow room. He did have his shoulder ahead of him. Anthony stepped in front. Now watch what happens. The idea, if you get your shoulder ahead, now watch, see the shoulder move ahead? Now it's up to the defensive man. He did not make the adjustment. Great call by the ref. Now these are FIBA referees. That's why they don't have on those, the striped shirts. This is all governed by USA Today Basketball. Bill Wall is their commissioner and runs the day-to-day operation.
And that, of course, is the governing body. Under that, the aegis of USA Basketball. Our next Olympic team will be coming out of there. And it looks more and more, Al, like it's going to be an NBA coach and a lot of NBA players.
I'm not going to, if I start yelling now, it's too early in the game. All I'm telling you, an NBA All-Star team, a college All-Star team will not win the Olympics in '92 in Barcelona, Spain. Now, remember, I told you, I don't care about MJ, I don't care about Patrick, I don't care about Magic. They will not win. You got to send a team. There's no I in team.
Who'd beat them? The Yugos?
Yugos would beat them. Maybe Spain's USSR would beat them. And possibly nobody else. Now, if any of those teams put all-star teams in against our all-star team, we'd win by 40. Nice lead.
Anthony goes down to Larry Johnson, who was hacked on the arm. Not called, and Everett Gray out-hustles people to the ball. Now watch Johnson work against these huge players. Can't get it down again, no foul call. And the Soviets come on the run with Brown to make up. They're down by 12 with 5:30 to play. Melashenko's come off the bench and hit for 6 points and stolen the ball twice to lead to other baskets.
Soviets are excellent at pump faking, head faking.
Ogman, not quite enough there. Actually tipped in by Melashenko going for the rebound. With his 3 field goals and 4 free throws, Melashenko has 10. Leading scorer in the game is Larry Johnson, who has now scored 21 points for UNLV.
Spread has remained the same for the last 10-12 minutes. Been between 9 and 13 points.
Melashenko at the top of his game. He has really played the best of any Soviet player in this game. They've not been hitting a high percentage of their shots, but Melashenko has. He is 12 now. 10-point game.
USSR can stop a score here, come down and break under that double digit and right back in. Uh-oh, too fancy, Stacy.
But again, the offensive board goes to the run and rev, and Everett Gray erases the mistake with an offensive rebound and a follow-up shot. UNLV defending against the three-point shot extremely well. That is the strength of the Soviet game, and they just haven't been there. The open three-point shots.
Too much hands on Bice that time. Ogman on this move here had a simple layup. He wanted to do a back reverse slam dunk. And left the ground too soon. Try to do it on the way down, which you can never shoot on the way down and dunk. It has to be on the way up. Shooting 2 shots because you're at the 10th foul. New rule in college basketball today. No shooting to the 6th foul. It's always been like that. 7, 8, 9, you shoot 1 and 1. After the 10th foul, you shoot 2 shots the rest of the time. First half and second half.
And of course, if a three-point shooter is fouled, he'll be shooting 3 free throws.
That's what happened the other day at Georgia Tech. And they fouled Kenny Anderson. He went to the line and made 3. Stepped in the lane early again. The Soviets, that's force of habit.
Larry Johnson has given fifths to the man defending against him, Sukharev, Dmitry Sukharev.
Rebels are playing 3 out, 2 down, picking for each other down low.
Hoffman is rejected there by Baryshnoy. Loose ball goes over to Melashenko. Hawked by Anthony.
Big 3-point play here, and they're back in the game. They think they're playing the 30-second clock, and they're playing the 45-second clock.
Dyneko, he wasn't fouled. He looks at the official. And again, they can't get it down. And now, Larry Johnson, who missed 6 straight field goal tries, gets another one down. And he has now scored 23 points in the first half.
Just allowing too many putbacks. Foul again on Greg Anthony. Anthony's playing too close up above. He's so close, the guy gets a half a step on him. So Melashenko Oleg gets the shot on the charity line, 15 feet out. The basket is always 10 feet high. Remember that. They'll never change the height of the basket. What they will do eventually, they will change the size and circumference of the basket.
Smaller?
Yeah.
How about what Abe Lemons wants? Put a hole in the floor and give the little guys a chance to make $1 million.
Well, you watch Kenny Anderson make $1 million, and he's a little guy. How about Muggsy Bogues? How about Spud Webb?
Muggsy Bogues had 3 rebounds the other night. That's not bad when you're 5'3" in the NBA.
You know, one thing about this FIBA organization and these teams coming over here, 1992, the NCAA has eliminated visiting teams coming because they're taking the free game away, and that would be a shame. because at the present time we got 50 teams in this country, men and women crisscrossing. And in the summertime, we send over to Europe, Asia, South America, Australia, 250 teams. Those are service teams, grade school, junior high, high school, AAU teams, and that's nice. It's goodwill, it's wholesome, it's what amateur sports is all about. I hope Bill Wall likes what I'm saying.
Tarkale is really working that towel across the way. We'll get a look at that in a little bit. As right now, his running Rebs are holding to a 13-point lead with 3:22 to play in the first half.
Which 4x4 half-ton pickup gives you better ground clearance, Chevy or Ford? Both try to drive over this protected camera cage. First, the Chevy. Plenty of clearance. But the Ford, cameras don't lie. No wonder more truck owners switched to Chevy last year than to any other truck. When it comes to ground clearance, more people are winning with Heartbeat of America.
Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Planning. Where'd I get the capital to start this business with my daughter? By investing for the long haul. And forget full commission brokers. I called Charles Schwab. Munis, mutual funds, blue chips, and I save plenty with Schwab's low commissions. Every day I tell my daughter, think long term. Make your own decisions. Be your own man.
We give you more ways to succeed.
They say drink plenty of fluids. Swallowing's total pain.
To stop sore throat pain fast, Advanced Formula Chloraseptic has the power of phenol. It penetrates nerve endings to work on contact, so it gives the fastest relief. And nothing lasts longer. Advanced Formula Chloraseptic works fastest, and nothing lasts longer. For fast relief when you're away from your spray, also try great-tasting Chloraseptic lozenges.
Tim Gergerich, one of the assistants, counsels the team. They love Tark the Shark, particularly Larry Johnson, who stayed here because